Man, she's got a voice. I never really got into Janis Joplin that much. But fuck, you can just feel the emotion coming out of her. Fucking 5 seconds into the song, you're like, whoa, what is this lady feeling? Fuck. God, I'm tearing up a little myself just fucking listening to it. Like I say, I smoke a lot of pot. Hi everybody, welcome to Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank. I'm your host, Ari Shaffir. On today's episode, I'm trying to think how much I should tell you about this before we start. I talked to my friend Sarah Tiana. She's been on this podcast before. She was on episode 54, Casual Sex. Man, that was in April? Wow. But in that time, since the last time we spoke to her, she, if you remember from those, she goes on a lot of USO tours and entertains the troops overseas in Afghanistan and Iraq and parts undisclosed, secret areas. And while she was on one of these trips recently, she met a guy, and she actually liked him. And they hit it off. But it turned out, this is the part I don't know if I should tell you or not, but I'm just going to. It turns out that he was leading a fake life, a completely fake persona he made up. I don't know if it's just for the purposes of the relationship or what, but you'll see the whole situation as we talk about it. It really makes me sad for my friend that she had to go through something. Maybe I'm choked up because I was just listening to that Janis Joplin song. But, fuck, maybe we should just listen to that song again. But anyway, so that's this episode. It's all about that. I have sponsors and dates to go over. The dates real quick. I just did Vegas at this Empire Comedy Club of Paris. It was a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool locals in Vegas. I always get worried when there's fat people, especially fat Midwesterners. I'm always thinking they're not going to like anything I have to say. But you know what? They're who takes pills. And I make jokes about pills sometimes. And those wives, those fat wives, are going to get it. And they were quite a wonderful audience. I'll be back in Vegas August 31st. I'm performing in a gigantic show with myself, Joe Rogan, Joey Diaz, and Duncan Trussell. We're doing the Mandalay Bay Event Center. It's where the weigh-ins, it's where the UFC is going to be. We're doing that. They're roping off a section of it, but it's going to be at least 2,800 people. This massive fucking show. I asked to be part of it just because I don't usually ask Rogan to open for him. I do once in a while when there's specific gigs I want to be a part of. Like, if there's someone in that town I want to have sex with. I'm sorry. Someone in that town with whom I'd like to have sex. Or any New York gig, because I love New York so much. Just certain places. D.C. to visit my family. Things like that. And I just asked to be part of this one because, man, that's going to be a cool fucking venue. 2,800 people. That's Dice shit. That's Andrew Dice Clay shit. That's a fucking stadium. It's going to be roped off. It's not as big, but that enters into Dice shit. And speaking of Dice, what a fucking dipshit of a segue man you are. Anyway, my next storyteller show is August 21st. It's all celebrity stories. That's why I was speaking of Dice. It's all celebrity stories. This Is Not Happening presents at the LA Improv on Melrose. It's me, Neil Brennan, Stephen Glickman, Bert Kreischer, Joey Diaz, and maybe one more. Maybe the Sklar Brothers. If anybody knows the Sklar Brothers, tweet at them. Tell them to do it because they have a cool story about Dice. And then that's where I'm going to be up until I go with Rogan to Vegas. So anyway, I'll be there August 31st. I'm just going to give you the rundown of all my dates because I've got like 7-8 weeks in a row. I'm about to go off on the road for a while. Starting with maybe my favorite, September 12th through the 15th, Cap City Comedy Club in Austin, Texas. For all these dates, by the way, go check arithegreat.com tour. I'll have all my, just click the tour link. I'll have all my tour schedule there. And then the 19th through about the 25th, I'm in Toronto and different dates for Just for Laughs 42. Check out hahaha.com for that. Then the 26th through the 29th of September, I'm at Crackers Comedy Club in Indianapolis. You can't make reservations on the website because they live in 1986 and you still have to call. So please call and make a reservation and come see me at Crackers. Then, starting in October, 4th, 5th, and 6th, Vent Comedy Club in Corpus Christi, Texas. Governors in Levittown on the 12th and the 13th, which may or may not happen because I think I might have to push that back because I think I booked some gig. So I think I might have to push that back. So that might not be happening. But then the 18th, 19th, and 20th, I'll be in D.C. at the D.C. Comedy Club, the D.C. Improv. What was I saying? DC Comedy Club. DC Improv. It's the first place I ever emceed. It's the first place I ever featured. And now they are finally letting me headline for a week. I did it once before. I headlined one day when Pablo Francisco couldn't do it, and I featured for the rest of them. And I have a video clip from that week. It was myself getting heckled by an Indian lady. You can go to my YouTube and check it out. It's people seem to like it. There's 500,000 views. 500,000 people have seen some Indian lady scream at me and throw a potato skin at me. So that's the 18th, 19th, and 20th, and it may be the 21st. I forget the exact dates. But go to dcimprov.com. Go to my website for all of them. Then October 25th, 26th, 27th, Helium in Portland. I love Portland. I'm so glad. I haven't been back for a year and a half, so that'll be fun. Then November 1st, 2nd, 3rd, Calgary for Yuck Yucks. It was so fucking awesome when I was there with Rogan doing fucking mushrooms at the UFC. And then a gigantic show to announce right now, November 8th, Chicago. Myself and Joey Diaz are going to be playing Chicago at the House of Blues. Tickets go on sale at Ticketmaster September 14th. I hate using Ticketmaster, but nevertheless, that's what we're using. September 14th, they're going on sale for the November 8th show. It's going to be a blowout. If everyone hurries up and get their tickets immediately on September 14th, we may add a second show. So that's my tour dates. And then at the end of November, the 28th, 29th, 30th, and 1st of December, I'm at House of Comedy in Minneapolis. Hopefully, I will not be getting arrested again this year. So that's all my tour dates. Please check out arithegreat.com for everything there. And then for my sponsors, I have Amazon.com. If you shop on Amazon, please go through arithegreat.com, click on the Amazon banner, and then do your shopping as is. I had somebody contact me. If you guys ever want to contact me, write to contact@arithegreat.com. And I get all of them. And somebody, I forget your name because I deleted it already, but you suggested wisely that I tell people to bookmark my webpage, arithegreat.com, and then mark it in your bookmarks as Amazon. So if you want, so you don't forget, because I always forget, and I understand what it's like to forget. We all smoke pot. We're all getting older. Bookmark it as Amazon. So every time I want to go to Amazon, it goes right to my webpage. Then just click on the Amazon banner on the right-hand side, and boom, you can help me support this podcast by getting me 6% of your money, or maybe their profits, I don't know, back, and it goes right into my pocket, which I will use for drugs, gummy bears, and so forth. Oh, and podcast equipment too, I guess. So do that. Amazon.com, go to arithegreat.com first, and then shop through Amazon. And then the other one is Gamefly. If you go to gamefly.com/Ari, there's a link for this on my website too. And fill out and subscribe for a 15-day free trial. You are more than welcome to cancel after 14 days. I tell people either way, I don't give a fuck. But they pay me really well to pimp their shit. And it's actually a good service. I don't do stuff that I can't use. Like Spotify, I stopped using them. I stopped sponsoring them. Having them sponsor me. I just can't fucking do it. I don't understand it. And then I get notices from people saying that so-and-so on Facebook, there's settings to make, I don't know what they are. So if you're going to use Spotify, please go through my friend Tom Segura and Christina Pazitsky. They have a podcast, a wonderful podcast, Call Your Mom's House. And I've been on it before, a couple times. Once, like, I think the second or third episode ever, and then a few weeks ago or a month ago or a year ago. I lose track of time. So go to their podcast and their website. I'm assuming yourmomshouse.com. And give them the money for Spotify. If you're going to do that, sign up through them. And then same shit, free, but they get money. So do it for them. And you know what? I've been putting this off, but I should, people ask me what podcasts I listen to. And the answer is none to almost none. I will tell you some very funny comedians who I believe, through hearing about their podcasts and from knowing who they are, to be podcasts worth listening to. I'll just run them down. The Bill Burr Monday Morning Podcast. It's fucking epic. I've heard it a few times. He just rants. He doesn't interview people. I don't know how he does it. He's one of the best comedians of our time in fucking prime shape. And he wakes up out of bed Monday morning and just rants for like an hour. And it's fucking brilliant sometimes. It's fucking brilliant sometimes. And I don't know how he does it. I don't know if he must write that shit ahead of time or some of it. But man, he's just good at what he does. That's a good one. Your Mom's House with Christina and Tom is a good one. The Joe Rogan Experience, you probably already know about that. Mark Maron's podcast, that's a lot of fun. The Champs have a podcast, Moshe Kasher and Neil Brennan, both of whom have been on my show. They only interview black people. So if you like black people or are in favor of reparations but not paying anything, then listen to the Champs podcast. Who else? Pete Holmes. Pete Holmes has a podcast that I'm going to be on at some point. He was on my podcast on episode something talking about his Christian or fucking weirdo Christian upbringing. And I'll be on his at some point. He's asked me, and we just haven't got the dates together. But he has a great one where he just talks about, I believe, sex, comedy, and drugs. Is that possible? Maybe family, too. But anyway, everybody fucking loves it, and he's hilarious. He's also a fucking great comic, and really in his prime. He came into his own like 3 or 4 years ago. And everything I've seen, that's when I started knowing him. It's just fucking, he's just great at comedy. He's got this bit about belief in God that's just, I wish he would do it more. It's just epic. I'm sure there's a lot more podcasts out there that I'm not remembering or not thinking of because I just thought of it 30 seconds ago to tell you guys. But yeah, so there's plenty. There's 40 hours in the work week, and that's all you guys ever do is listen to this while you should be fucking working, but you never do. You slack off. So while you're slacking off, go to Amazon.com and go to my website to get there and get me some money. Oh, and there's tour shirts and grinders on sale too at arithegreat.com. So whatever. Anyway, you guys, let's get back to the podcast. Sarah Tiana was kind enough to share this really, really fucking painful experience. She took us all the way through it, sort of gave you a quick version of what it's like to go through the joy and then the pain of having a guy. I'm intrigued by guys like this, by people like this in general, who just lead false lives, who just are someone that they're not saying they are. They're just completely inventing a personality. And I don't even know why all the time. I get it if it was for money, if it was a scam for money. But man, just to invent a personality, just to live as a different person. Steve Simone, my friend Steve Simone used to do this, where he would, and by the way, if you're saying that this podcast intro is too long, I don't want to tell you to eat shit, but you should eat shit a little bit because I barely went over my dates and my fucking sponsors, and the rest is just fun things. But Steve Simone used to do this thing when he got drunk, and he would go in and pretend he was Travis Bickle or the Gooch. He used to tell people he was the Gooch from Different Strokes. And we got a girl to actually say once that she remembered him from that. And he was like, oh, cool. And then later he goes, she's full of shit because the Gooch never appeared on Different Strokes. He was just referenced. So fuck you, one girl. Fuck you. Anyway, so Sarah is kind enough to share all this shit with me. Follow her on Facebook or on Twitter and send her a message and tell her what a cool person she is. I think that would help her out. Because she is. She's writing for The Burn now. She's fucking, her everything's going well for her, but fucking these monkey wrenches people throw in. God damn, it's not worth it. Any time fucking falling in love is never worth it. It's never gotten easier. Since I was 16 years old, it has never, ever gotten any easier. It's full of fucking heartbreak and pain and occasional good sex. Fuck. Anyway, enjoy Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank, episode 73. Oh, wait, I had a good title for this, but I can't remember it. Oh, I know it is. Enjoy Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank, episode 73, Love Scam, with Sarah Tiana. Here we are. We're off.
Okay.
I never know how to get into these things. How are you, Sarah?
I'm good.
So the Burn premieres tomorrow.
The Burn premieres tomorrow.
Are you guys excited?
I'm very excited.
I heard the first episode. This will already be the first episode will be out, I guess, before this comes out.
Yes, the first episode will be out, but
Did you do
I'm really
this
proud
time?
about it.
Did you do any field pieces?
I have not done a field piece yet. They still might use the Chris Brown piece that I did because he's still in the news.
Still touring.
Yeah, he's still touring, and his album's #1, which I find ridiculous.
And he's just beating left and right.
Yeah, the competition.
Did he call Chad Johnson afterwards and be like, "Yo, what's up, bro?
Yeah, what's up, dude? Let me give you some pointers."
Yeah. First of all,
don't lead with your head. It's too much evidence.
We all heard about that story, but we heard that Chad Johnson was in his wife's car with her and found a condom receipt. Well, the way we heard it was that he found a condom receipt from her, and we're all like, "Listen, it's never right to beat a woman, but if you find your wife has condoms that you don't use,
right?"
But then we're like, "Oh no, she found it on his car." We're like, "Oh, and you can't beat her."
Yeah.
Really, you can't ever beat somebody.
I almost didn't think that he did. Because she's kind of crazy. No, not at all. I mean, he's crazy too, but she's also extremely do you watch Hard Knocks, the Dolphins?
No, I should have, but I never watched it.
Yeah, that's why I'm so bummed because it's not going to be as good. Yeah, I know. It's not going to be as good without him.
Oh, is he excited?
But he's such a hard worker, and she is so mean to him all the time.
Really? She was in it.
A little bit, yeah, in the first episode, and he was just talking about when he played for the Patriots and how she would just if he only got to score with her when he scored a touchdown.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. He's a Pro Bowler.
I know. I mean, he's been in the league 10 years.
It's not like the fucking end of Happy Gilmore where he's like, motivate me.
Yeah. No.
Madison.
He doesn't, and it was he was already going through a tough time being on the Patriots anyway, a whole new system, and it's no joke. He really learned. I think he really learned a lot last year, and so I mean, in the pilot of Hard Knocks, he looks phenomenal. He's worked so hard to stay where he is, and he was definitely going to be their top receiver this year, if not one of the top.
And they just released him.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do anything wrong.
They want to tell these guys look, you are one of the problem guys. We're going to sign you, but there can be no instances.
Yeah.
It's what if someone starts with me? Then do I just don't? You can never punch someone.
Yeah. No.
Just no matter what.
But you work in a field where you headbutt people after a good touchdown. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
have to reel those guys in.
Yeah. I mean, you get and I, when I was watching the pilot, I wanted to punch her.
Really? She was that annoying?
She was so annoying, and she's totally a fame whore, you can tell, and she just is like, oh, you know how pretty I am. I'm the best-looking thing you've... And, she is on that show with him, and she's on Basketball Wives, or she used to be.
She's on Basketball Wives, too?
She was.
He married her off Basketball Wives? She was already on Basketball Wives, then he started fucking?
And then now they have their own show, like Ocho and Ev or whatever.
Are you crazy?
Yeah, and then they just canceled that show today. VH1 did, so...
Because of the beating.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's obviously backfiring on her, too, but she's going to get all of his money. It's not like he has a ton. He spends it on tigers and stuff. Where's all his tiger money going to go?
So crazy. Yeah. I mean, he's
definitely not, a smart guy when it comes to finances and decision-making, because that's why he changed his name, Yeah. That's a lot of paperwork to change it back.
It is a lot of paperwork. And he changed it back.
Yeah. Right. So, But
those people. You ever see The Simpsons? But somebody was it was these two massage therapists, and they were massaging some football player, and it was they were old retired football players, the massage therapists, and then they were like, we should have used our money better. And the one guy's like, I wish I hadn't bought a Ferrari a day for 7 years.
So true.
Someone needs to be like, guys.
Yeah,
no.
Well, the NFL does offer them business courses at Harvard and Yale. But they're 2-week intensive courses. That
ain't going to do it.
It's not going to do it.
That ain't going to do it. They just don't say they offered it. Like a Laugh Factory psychologist.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever made a breakthrough there?
Yeah.
Maybe. Have they? Have you ever done it?
No.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't get spots at the Laugh Factory. And I'm totally convinced that Jamie's selling people out and taking videos of them, and that's why...
like Scientology stuff.
That's why Tosh and Dane Cook got in trouble for telling those jokes. Everything always happens at the Laugh Factory. Michael Richards.
Everything always happens at the Laugh Factory.
And it's and not just the Laugh Factory, the Laugh Factory on Sunset Boulevard. That's how it's always printed in the press.
Oh, yeah. It's like he releases these.
Yeah. Of course.
I always wonder about that.
Yeah.
But like T.J. Miller posted something. You think at that point Jamie calls the Huffington Post and says, "Hey, pick up this thing."
Sure. Why not? You know, it's like all it does. You know, he doesn't give them their money back. He just gives them tickets to another show.
Oh yeah, we used to do that when I worked in the phone room up in the, like assistant talent coordinator. If someone would call or write to complain about Mooney, we would just say, "I'm so sorry." We'd have to write back, "I'm so sorry. He'll be severely reprimanded." And then we would call Mooney and be like, "Do you want to hear this one?"
Yeah.
And he'd be like, "Yeah, sure, let me hear it." And we'd never say a word to him. Jamie's not quite like that.
No, he's using it to make money.
That club is nice, though. You always kill when you're there. It's not a workout club, but it's not a hangout club either. But it's
not a hangout club. I feel like it's too bright for me. I don't really like how bright it is, and it's always freezing in there.
Yeah.
So I don't ever go unless I have, like, I've been booked on a showcase for somebody.
I got shell-shocked early when they wouldn't let me in to go see Freddie Soto. I was like, "No, my friend is performing." And they're like, "Sorry, unless you have a ticket." And I was like, "I understand, but fuck, come on, man."
Yeah, okay.
Jamie, why is that your rule?
No.
He wants to make money off comics.
Oh,
Whatever.
yeah, exactly.
Anyway, let's get into this because I want to do this because I don't know how much time
more
I have.
relationship talk.
So here's what I heard from you. Last time we talked, you talked about like how you like boning and stuff.
How I like boning.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean on your podcast?
Yeah. Yeah. And then, okay, but since then, you went to Afghanistan or Iraq.
I went to the Middle East.
One of those places.
Mm-hmm. On my 10th military tour, entertain the
10th tour
troops.
of duty. Mm-hmm. Do you call them tour of duties?
I just call them military tours.
Okay. How much do you make on a tour?
They give you a per diem, but it's mostly just for.
So say you did it.
No, I mean it's like for volunteer basis. You know, it's not like you can make money.
Oh, okay.
Doing it, you know.
I thought people make like a few grand. No.
It depends on how. Yeah, I mean, you make. I think it's like $250 a day.
You're like, yeah, if you want to live like Simone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not a get rich thing. It's on a volunteer basis.
And you like it because you like performing for the troops.
Yeah, I feel like it's my way of giving back, and it's also my way of like getting to ask questions that I don't normally get to ask. And when I have questions about like what we're doing in this undisclosed location, like I'm free to ask those questions. They can't always answer me, but it does help me understand the military a lot more. It also gives me a deeper appreciation for it, and it makes me like it always like I'll go in with lots of questions, especially when you pay attention to the media and read the news as much as I do. And then to go over there and actually talk to people, you actually leave with a better, like, safer feling, and you like
fuller understanding of it too,
right? There's a big understanding also about, like, you always think, gosh, we spend so much money on the military, you know. But what you don't see is how much money we save and how much we help other people. And, like, they don't report all the good stuff that we do. And they certainly don't report all the shit we're really doing.
We're getting rid of brown people.
No.
It's doing the world a service.
Yeah, well, thank God, right? But
wait, what are the good things they're doing? Setting up schools and stuff, right?
It's not just schools, but it's also just like water and medical, you know, like in Djibouti, which is where I started in Djibouti, Africa. Like they've redesigned the whole medical community there, and they've trained a lot of their local doctors and provided them with just basic supplies because people were dying if they got burned. You know, on the stove.
About the wells? Oh, really?
Yeah.
They were that bad off?
Oh, yeah, because they get infected. They didn't know how to treat it, you know. So just basic little things like that where, you know, human life is. But it's also like, then I also learned that Djibouti, which is in the Horn of Africa, is the deepest seaport on the eastern seaboard of Africa.
Deepest?
It's the deepest port, which means if shit goes down and we have to put ships and aircraft carriers, or if Africa goes under attack, how do we get supplies into Africa?
A deep port.
A deep port.
Boats that go down way far.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So if that's on the whole east coast of Africa, because the west coast is the one that's primarily in trouble all the time, except for Somalia is like on the east coast. But because of Libya and all that shit in the middle, most of their ports are on the west coast.
Oh, wow.
The western sea.
I heard about this thing about wells, that they were building wells in the Middle East, and they had these wells that were just like broken. People were like, oh, we have no water now. And people had to come in and like, no, you just need a fix. It just needs a new nut bolt on it. That's it. Well,
when Saddam was in Iraq, he dammed up the Tigris and the Euphrates. You know, that used to be the Fertile Crescent. That's where the Garden of Eden was, and you know, that's basically the Bible is that whole territory of Iraq. And the Fertile Crescent was the land between the Tigris and Euphrates. It was definitely the most lush land in the whole Middle East. It was, practically a rainforest. It was like so beautiful.
Yeah.
And over years, it's definitely like withered away and with lack of care or devotion. But then when he dammed it up so that the people in the south, who were mostly Sunnis, he was a Shia. Yeah.
Yeah. My half brother was in charge, was a captain in the army.
Yeah.
And he was. Did I tell you this? Mm-mm. He's in charge of setting up a provisional government in Afghanistan, I think. Maybe Iraq, but I think Afghanistan. And they had to work for a year just to negotiate what percentage of Sunnis and what percentage of Shiites can be in the government.
Right.
And they finally figured out. I'm like, all right, let's meet. And they're like, oh, no, we're not going to sit in a room with them.
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
It's so crazy.
And he was like, all right, well, that's my tour.
It's so tribal.
For the next guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that? If
They're
a
so
congressman
behind.
was like, no, Obama's a black. I'm not. No,
I know.
He's not my president.
They're decades behind. I mean,
Wow.
Iraq is definitely a little bit more forward thinking, just like Kabul and Afghanistan is definitely like a little bit more westernized.
Because it's a big city.
It's a bigger city. Women don't have to wear burqas all day. Like they can just wear a headscarf.
But they have to do that. What do you do?
Well,
when you're
yeah,
there?
They're Muslim. It's a Muslim country.
So what do? You have to do that stuff?
I'm on the base the whole time in Afghanistan because it's a war. We've declared war there. I'm only allowed on the base. I'm not allowed off.
Oh, other places you're allowed off? Mm-hmm. What do you do in those Muslim places?
Because it's not under Sharia law, then I don't have. We never go off base in a country where they have Sharia law.
I realized I was listening to this thing on about Syria and how they've set up a provisional government in this town that's enclave that the rebels have taken over.
Yeah, and
they set up a port with Turkey or whoever they're right next to there. I don't know who it is.
Syria? Oh yeah, Turkey probably, or Jordan.
And they've set up, cross checks and stuff like this. All the rebels have done this. And they're trying to show how they're like, look, we can run this ourselves. Like, look, we've even executed a couple of people for killing. We're like, oh, that's not.
No.
That's really just a sign that we're not. But they're like, yeah, see? We're getting it together.
Yeah, we're getting our shit together. We're just killing people for good reasons.
Okay, so you've gone to, this is your 10th tour that you just got back from.
My 10th tour. And we started in Djibouti, Africa, which is where I met.
And have you ever met any dudes there before that you've done
I've been on 10 tours. I've never met anybody.
Not even make out?
Nope. Never even like...
You must have gotten attention.
Oh, definitely. But, when I first started doing military tours, I had a boyfriend at the time. So It wasn't like I even thought about it like that. But then also, like, you have to realize when I'm over there, I'm usually older than most of the guys that I meet, because I'm 34. So
yeah, but you're LA 34.
I'm LA 34, so I still look 27 or whatever. I get carded for cigarettes. So.
Really?
Yeah.
For cigarettes?
That was
always my weird one.
I think that's why I still smoke them. But makes me feel young and pretty. But but I also am given a ranking when I'm there, which is
GS?
a GS-14, which is basically a full bird colonel. So that I can stay in the same housing, in specific housing. It also enables me to get on planes. It gives me access to certain, places on the base where I need to perform, or I have to do a meet and greet, or if I'm...
Because privates can't go in there.
Yeah, certain places are restricted access to people below a certain rank. So they basically have to give you a ranking, which is general service, GS, what I think it's a 14. It might be a...
Oh, that's what GS stands for?
Yeah. It's basically like a DOD, Department of Defense civilian. They get those rankings too. And so I also outrank a lot of the guys when I'm there. Most everybody.
So are you not allowed to hook up with them because of that?
Technically, no. And I never do because I'm also representing my country. I'm representing the business.
Yeah, the country likes to fuck.
Yeah. But I'm also I'm there to do... To make them, to make them
Have you
laugh.
had to beat anybody up? Not physically, but have you ever had to be reject people?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They're horned up in the middle of nowhere, right?
Of course. I've had, I had a master gunner lick my neck once when we did this private show in the middle of Iraq, for the Marines.
How did he lick your neck? Just walk up to you?
Yeah, he was telling me a joke, and then he just and I was ugh, so freaked out.
Licking in the neck was the first move.
Yeah, it was super creepy, but I mean, it's also where are we gonna go? They sleep in a tent with 14 dudes, and
Did you ever see Over There?
Over There.
That show on FX, I think.
Oh no! I hear that people make out in bunkers and stuff.
Yeah, it seemed like that. They did that, like they were doing the laundry, and then you just start going. You hope nobody walks in.
Yeah, I've heard about that. But, I don't want to put anybody in a position where they can get in trouble either. I would really feel bad about that, you know? Right. And then I don't want to put myself in a position to not be able to go on these tours ever again because it's really important to me.
Yeah, if they blackmark you or something.
Yeah, it's hard enough for me to even get over there as a woman because I'm always the only girl, which means they have to make specific sleep accommodations for me because I can't room with guys because that's not allowed.
Don't they have girls over there, though?
They do.
Okay.
And sometimes, like, when I was in Djibouti, they put me in a room with another lady that was staying there for a few weeks. Oh. So I had a roommate that I didn't know.
Oh, that's cool.
But then most of the time I was given my own room and the guys all had to sleep in the same room together.
Oh, you must have been hit on. You're like, let me come in. Let me just sleep over there.
It's not like I flash that around, I'm very aware of like the fact that I'm outnumbered.
You feel dangerous over there?
Do I feel dangerous?
Do you feel danger?
No, I don't feel danger. I feel safer there than I do here.
Okay.
Because I get, I feel like so many people are looking out for me, and everything is a time regiment. So if I don't show up someplace at a certain time, then
they're looking for you.
Immediately things get locked down.
All right, but this time, you went, and what happened? You talked to some guy.
I found love. Yeah. I met. I thought I did. Okay. So, yes, the first night, the second night that I was in Djibouti, we did a show, and after the show, we were doing a meet and greet, and I saw this guy at the end of the line, and I was like, he's cute, but I didn't really think too much more of that. And he came up to shake my hand, and I was like, you're so cute, you have to let me take a picture with you, just to prove that there are hot guys in the,
Aren't there a lot of hot guys in the military?
Yeah, but it was like a line a little bit. But it wasn't like, it wasn't a line to be like, I want to, fuck you or whatever. Yeah. It was just like, I want a picture with you, like you're really cute. And he was like so flattered, and we took a picture, and then he was like, can I get your email so that I can see that picture? And I was like, yeah. So I give him my email.
Good move right there.
Mm-hmm. And then I was like, but I'm going to be hanging out, after the show if you want to have a drink with us or whatever. So he went and got me a drink, and he just like waited by the side of the stage. And so we ended up having a beer and just talking for like 6 hours, like till like 3 a.m.
Magical night.
Well, it was like 5 hours, yeah. So, like, a very magical night. Like,
I've had those. Those are great.
Yeah, phenomenal.
You hit it off.
Yeah, totally hit it off. I didn't expect it. The more we talked, the more I really liked him.
And were you like, at some point, were you like conscious of it? Like, are you feeling this? Because I'm feeling this.
Yeah. I mean, we both kept saying that. Like, he's just kept saying, like, I can't believe it. Like, I've never felt it this way. Like, he was really laying it on thick. Looking back, I realized that. But like, he told me so many personal things about himself, like about... First conversation.
About what?
Well, the first thing he told me was that he was in the Special Forces, which is a really elite part of the Army, which was why he was in civilian clothes. So he said, and the Special Forces are very different. Like, I've performed for them many times, and you can't take their picture. Yeah. You can't...
oh, really?
Yeah, they don't have Facebook pages, which he certainly does not. They don't have, an online profile. You can't take videos of them. It was the only show that we did when I was in Iraq where no one had a weapon because they don't need weapons to kill you.
Really?
They can kill you with their hands.
So they just didn't even. Whoa.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm very familiar with the Special Forces. They're also usually the first people in country, and they're usually the last to leave. And they do a lot of special patrols that no one ever knows about.
Right.
And they're, obviously the Special Forces are
dressed in turbans.
Are the team that went out. They're, it's like Special Forces and Navy SEALs. They're all considered Special Forces. So they're who got Bin Laden. Like, those are the kind of people where they go in the dark of night. They're in and out. Nobody ever sees them.
Yeah, I like that when Obama was like, let's do smaller things.
Oh, yeah.
Smaller, more precise things.
Very specific.
Get the one or two guys we need to get and then get out with limited amount of casualties possible.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, they're a team that's usually trained for years upon years of, like, it's not just like weapons and specialty. It's it's intel. It's hand-to-hand combat. It's also vocabulary and language. You know, he spoke Spanish and some Arabic.
Yeah.
He was fluent in Spanish because his mother was Puerto Rican. He told me all this stuff, you know, like how he grew up in Brooklyn, Bushwick, you know, that his parents died in a car accident when he was 17, so he didn't have any family. You know, immediately I was like, oh my God, you know, like no wonder this guy joined the military so fast. He told me he was a baseball player because I'm a huge baseball fan. We've talked about that.
Yeah, and you came home and you were just smitten.
Oh, yeah. I mean, by the time I came home, I mean, I met him on the first night I was there. And we had lunch the next morning, or the next afternoon, and then I left to go to Kuwait, and he was there. But he told me, you know, that he was...
He was where?
Huh?
He was...
In Djibouti.
Okay.
And I was going to Kuwait to finish the rest of my tour all over the Middle East. And, oh my God, that's probably him calling right now. And so I was just like, you know, we'll be in touch. And so, you know, sent emails, and then the emails turned into Skyping like within a day or two. And
yeah. This is how stuff starts when you fall for somebody.
This is how stuff starts, you know?
Like, what kind of connection can we have?
And I obviously, like, I kissed him goodnight. That's the most, you know...
You've ever done with a guy? Or military, I mean?
Well, on the first date, maybe it's the least.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I kissed him goodnight.
You just made out?
No, I didn't even make out with him. I just... Kissed for a couple minutes. You know, that's about it.
Did you feel
I felt
your butt?
really uncomfortable.
Did you feel your butt?
No, it wasn't like that. It was nothing, no groping, no nothing. He actually asked me to come back to his room to watch a movie, and I felt really uncomfortable about that. And I was like, no, you know, like, and, you know, he's like, oh, I live alone, you know, which nobody over there does. But since he was in the Special Forces, that made perfect sense to me, and that he, you know, they could do whatever they wanted. You know, we're in Special Forces, we have our own rules, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, then it turned into Skyping, and that's where we could really talk a lot. We were talking 2 to 3 times a day, you know. Every moment that I had free, I would try to contact him, you know. Because, I mean, on top of traveling, I'm also, like, going all over the base all day long, like, shaking hands, meeting people, doing shows. Yeah, oh, yeah. The biggest part of over there is not even the show. It's, like, meeting and greeting people all day long. Like, meeting with the wing commander, meeting with the commander, meeting with the general on the base. How do
you stay peppy when you're talking to those people?
It's very difficult.
It's just another guy.
That's most of your energy all day long is devoted to just like getting up the energy to like act like you're extremely interested in what they're talking to you about. And
is that what it is?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, no way. This is where you store your pins. No way. Like, all the pins? Like, just the black ones, or do you separate the color? Like,
really?
It's like literally making conversation out of nothing because it's so mundane to them, so they have to make it seem, you know.
Like, this is my
you know, but that's the beautiful thing about the military is that it's such a vast operation that to decrease the military budget would literally harm every single person in America. It would affect you in some way.
Really?
Because...
Would it affect me in some way?
Yeah.
How would it affect me?
Well, it depends on the goods and service, like the goods that you buy. Like, you know, think about all the water. Think about the people. Like, everybody has jobs, right? So, and there are however many people employed by the military, like 5 million or something like that. So imagine all those people needing work.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst. They said they're going to end the war and come back. Like, we already don't have enough jobs for everybody.
Oh, yeah,
You're gonna add 50,000 more people to come back?
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the biggest part. But it's so expensive. Like, that's why I don't drink out of plastic water bottles anymore, because that's made of oil. And obviously oil is a big reason that we're in the situation, you know, this whole demand for oil. And it's also extremely hard to recycle. Because, you know, plastic is made of oil. So everything that's plastic has oil in it.
Oh.
Which is why this whole, you know...
And that's why we go to the Middle East, to get oil for plastics?
I think it's not just our cars. Okay. Oil is in everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's why I started just buying glass. Also, you know, in the North Pacific, there's the North Pacific landfill, which is where the currents meet. And there's this, like, whole plastic mountain.
It's the size of Texas?
Just floating. It's the size of Texas.
Oh, my God. When I think about that, I'm like, I can't think about this.
Yeah, and it's just moving because the currents just forced all the litter in the ocean to just kind of gather there. Yeah,
and what
it's like
can
a natural
do with it?
phenomenon.
Scoop it up? No.
There's not, I mean, unless we shoot it into space, I have no idea.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So anyway, so yeah, it's like a very
nonstop Skyping, texting. Texting costs too much for over there.
No texting, but we could Skype, and so we would video
Skype's
chat.
amazing.
Yeah, Skype is so
free
phenomenal.
Conversations.
Yeah. So anytime I had Wi-Fi, plus he's emailing me love letters all day long.
Did you do any sex Skyping?
No.
Nothing?
No. I refused to do that until he got here. I just didn't want. But also, I'm very careful of the images that I put on the web, and people can screen capture, and at the time I was like, it's not, like once I remember showing him the underwear that I was wearing, and I saw him screen capture it, and I was like, what do you, like, I was so upset.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and he's like, no one can get on, no one has access to this. And I was like, it's not that. I'm not saying that you're going to show anybody, but people can hack into things. That's
how do you know he screen captured? Did he like move forward?
No, I saw him, do something, and I was like, did you just take a picture? And he's like, yeah, and I was like, no, you need to erase it. You need, and like looking back, I'm so thankful that I never did anything like that.
Yeah.
I did send him like a sexy video, but it was just me in my underwear. Like you just see my back, like you couldn't see any boob or anything. Because he asked for it.
Do you get worried when you have
20
to make,
seconds long,
you make like a sexy, do you like get worried when you have to make one of those?
Well, that was the whole thing. I was like, you asked me to make this, and I can't even figure. I'm like, I feel so dumb. That was the whole video. Yeah. That was me going like, I don't know what I'm doing here. So, yeah, after like a week, he told me that he loved me, and I honestly felt the same way. Like I was completely.
You weren't in when you came back.
Oh, yeah.
How was your last tour? Great. I met my husband.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We talked about getting married. We talked about having kids. And, he wanted to have them right away. And I was like, no, I need to wait 3 years because I have all this work coming up. And I really want to focus on that. I want to throw it all away for, all this hard work.
For your ovary.
Yeah. It's like I've lived in LA for 12 years, been busting my ass. I'm not going to put on the brakes now just because I met a boy.
Brakes.
Man. So I was like, we can wait, I mean, I went on birth control. I wasn't even on birth control.
You went on just because?
Because when I knew he was coming back, I just wanted to.
Fucking soon.
I wanted to make sure, that he wasn't gonna, pull the goalie or whatever.
So it's way more fun with birth control than it is.
Yeah, and I knew I was going to be with him forever, so I wasn't really worried about that. I mean, we talked about where we were going to get married. We talked about when. We talked about. I mean, like religion. We talked about politics. We talked. About my family. We talked about the Comedy Stores, like how I was going to integrate him into meeting people here.
The Comedy Store Society.
Well, also because he's been, embedded for years. Yeah. And he spends, like a month or two at home maybe, and then comes right back. Like he's constantly being redeployed, and he's not used to being around, like, tons of people, doesn't have tons of friends.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any family. So,
Smoke pot?
Can't do drugs or anything. I mean, this is what he told me. So that, like this.
Okay.
So, it's been very intense. And then
for how many months now are we talking about?
Well, I met him on June 7th when I was over there.
Oh, wow.
He said he was getting.
Oh, that's 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. Wow.
June, yeah.
So when I met you, we just
gotten
back.
July to August. Yeah, 2.5 months ago. He said he was going to be done between July 31st and August 4th. He would be completely done with the military. He said he'd been in 10 years. He would be completely done. Yeah. And he was going to take a job continuing to work with the government, that he would make tons and tons of money. He already makes close to 6 figures a year. He says he never spends his money. He has a house in Brooklyn and one in Puerto Rico that I would never have to work again if I didn't want to.
What?
But because he would be making even more money doing this government job. But, obviously he was completely supportive of my career. Okay. And that he might have to go to Hawaii or San Diego twice a month, but he worked it out so that I could come with him. Like, there was just all this stuff. And I was just like, God, it's so great. Like everything is working out.
It seems fine. Yeah.
Everything seems fine. I was like, he was really hesitant about moving here because I had such a history here. So we had decided, I was like, I've never lived on the west side, like Santa Monica. I've always been completely against it.
Yeah.
I was like, so maybe we can live over there.
You're getting older now. It's a fine place to live.
Yeah. So I thought, well, like, let's live over there. And then we're both kind of discovering that area together because I don't really ever go over there.
Yeah.
I could care less. So, he thought that was so sweet, I mean, he talked to my sister on the phone. He talked to my niece for a second. He talked to my best friend, Sarah.
You talked to your sister on the phone?
Yeah, on Skype for a second.
Wow. What do you mean? Was she right there, or did they try to make a connection?
Oh, no, actually, maybe it was on my actual phone, not on Skype. But, no, she was there because after I left the Middle East, I went to Disney World and met up with my family, and we all hung out there for a week.
Nice. Get a giant turkey leg?
From the
You've spent a week
unhappiest place on earth.
Oh, in Orlando? That one?
Yeah, Orlando. Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's a good one, right? That's way bigger. Okay, so then where does it go from there?
From there, so then I come back to LA, and we had talked for a second.
Wait, hold on. What does your family say at this point? He seems cool.
Oh, they're so happy for me. They judge everything based on my happiness. So
really?
If I'm happy, they're happy. Like,
were you from Georgia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And they're just like very, they can see how happy I am, and that's all they care about.
Well, that's good.
And so, they're like, well, we'll just have to meet him. Like, we're excited for you. This is great. I'm sure they didn't think that I was ever going to get married. So
like,
they're like, all right, well, look at that. So then I go back to LA. I have like 2 weeks before I start working on The Burn. And,
Is that when I met you and you said at that Ice House Chronicles podcast?
Yeah, probably.
Is that when you were like, yeah, I'm doing this?
Yeah.
I'm going to get married? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was like, we talked about it all the time. It wasn't like, I didn't feel weird about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't even nervous.
Everybody.
I wasn't nervous about it. It just all felt very normal to me. Like, my life is so abnormal. Like, why would I meet a guy in a normal way? It seemed completely plausible to me that, like, I live in a world where,
what do you mean, at a bookstore? You don't go to bookstores.
Right, exactly.
How is that going to happen?
I live at comedy clubs, and he lives on a military base. Like, there's just nowhere for him to meet anybody, and there's nowhere for me to meet anybody, like, legitimately. So it made perfect sense that it was hard for him to meet people. He's 33. He's just about to get out. I'm 34. It, like, kind of all worked out. And so, there were a few red flags, but I think I kind of ignored them.
Well, okay.
Until he went away. And so, like, about a month ago, I knew that he was going to be the first red flag went up when he brought up, when I was still over in the Middle East on my way back, that he wished I could just come back out to Djibouti for a little bit to visit before I started my job.
Really?
And I was like, dude, I'm down. Like, I'll come back out. I don't care,
Really?
He's like, yeah, I'll totally pay for you to come out here. We'll put you up at this hotel. And I was like, all right, I'm down. And then he didn't bring it up again for like a week. And I was like, that's really fucked up.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, well, whatever. It's just maybe, And then a week later, after he didn't bring it up for a week, he brought it up again. And I was like, you know what? Like, we talked about it, and then you didn't bring it up. And I brought it up.
Yeah.
And he acted like it was like the first time I had ever said anything about it. And I was like, no, we already talked about it. And he's like, well, I'll fly out right now. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to be disappointed again when you forget, so I'd rather just not talk about it. And he was like, all right. And we didn't. And then it was like almost 4th of July. It was like the week before 4th of July. And I was just like really having a tough time. It was like
3 weeks after you met him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. A month after I met him, But like I said, everything was really intense. Yeah. It wasn't just like I talked to him every few days, like a normal dating relationship.
Did you ever just sit on Skype and just not say anything? Just kind of like sit there and look at each other for a while?
No, not really. I mean, we always had something to say and talk about.
Oh, okay.
And so, but definitely the conversation was very lovey-dovey. It wasn't like super deep. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like, we talked about religion a couple times after I had been to like this mosque in Bahrain, and I really wanted, like, I had like an amazing experience, and we talked about politics a little bit, but mostly, he was just like always telling me things that he liked about me.
Nice.
And
that's fun.
And I just, like, my biggest complaint was that I felt like he never really asked me a lot of questions. I felt like I was constantly asking him questions.
Yeah.
And he would always say, like, you ask a lot of questions, And I was like, I kind of feel weird that you don't ask me more. And he's like, well, because I can read about you. And I was like, well, that's not how you get to know. That's not me. Yeah. That's the person that is, a comic.
Small part of you.
I know. So, so then he calls me, like one day, like out of the blue, when I had already said goodbye to him and was like, he was going to go to bed or whatever. And then he calls me and he was like, oh, I was just coming back from my mission or whatever. And like the MWR guy, who was a guy that I met when I was there, like stopped him and was like kind of hitting on him because he's kind of gay or whatever, like flirty.
Yeah.
And then my guy, Derek, was saying like, oh, like I've been dating that comedian girl that was here. And he's like, no way, Sarah Tiana. He's like, and
this is the boyfriend saying this.
The boyfriend is saying this to
somebody else. What's his name? Derek?
His name's Derek.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm really hesitant about saying his last name.
Who cares?
I might. I just okay. Anyways, we'll get into that.
Okay.
So then he calls me and he was like, hey, the MWR guy just stopped me and he said he'll pay for you to come out. Like, you don't even have to.
What's MWR?
MWR, Morale, Welfare, Recreation. That's usually who sponsors us to come out overseas.
Okay.
And he's like, he said that he would pay for you to come out and they'll put you up. You don't even have to do a show, And this was like after 4th of July. After the third time when like I was actually like sitting on my computer looking up flights and it was going to be like close to $3,000 to like get me out there. And I was like, well, he's, because before he's like talking about how he has all this money, that he's never spent any money, he has tons of money, money. So I'm thinking like, ooh, 3,000 is a lot,
Maybe if he has a lot of money.
But if he has a lot of money, then what does it matter, Yeah. It's like a little peace of mind for before I come back.
Yeah, it's once in a while.
And so then, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to have to look into it because I have to make sure I'm not leaving the country. We're supposed to go down to Kenya or somewhere, and I just have to make sure that if you come out here, I get to see you, and I get to spend time with you. And I was like, all right. So then I kind of dismissed it. And then he just like dropped it again. So this, after the third time of him dropping it, for him to call me out of the blue and say, and this is like right before the Monday I'm supposed to start work. It was like on the Friday before I was supposed to start work. He's like, the MWR guy said he'd pay for you to come out here and he'd put you up and you didn't have to perform. And I'm like, why now all of a sudden is it different when this guy can pay for it?
Oh, yeah. If you had money.
If you have money, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Why 3 weeks ago we could have made this plan, So I was a little weirded out by that.
Yeah.
He also called me like in the middle of the night, and I was just like, what, So that was a red flag, but I kind of dismissed it. Like he's probably just really excited, Especially when you're being manipulated, it's very easy to dismiss.
It's tough to look at those
things
and start to think, is there a devious plan here?
Yes, I know. You don't want to
just think, oh, weird.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
All right. And so then, like, a week later, he goes on, like right after I start the show, I actually had, like, a freak-out moment before I even started the show where, because of that, it got me thinking, like, oh, because also, that's right. So this was, after that, I started thinking, like, maybe I need to test the waters a little bit.
What do you mean? Bone some other people?
No. I needed to see if he was really, going to come through. Like, because my biggest thing in relationships is, like, if you tell me you're going to do something, you need to do it. And, like, both of us had always talked about that. So when I was asking him to bring me out,
and then he wasn't,
that seemed to me like a promise that he wasn't fulfilling. And so I remember, my sister needed to borrow money because they went through this whole lawsuit. So I talked my parents into giving them some of the money from my wedding account that they had saved for me. And so they, my sister, I just made sure, I wanted to tell Derek that I was doing that because it's our money, technically. And so I just did it. And he was like, and I was like, oh, I just want to make sure. And he's like, you don't ever have to worry about money. Don't worry about that. And I was like, I wanted to give her some from my own bank account.
Who is this?
My sister.
Okay.
I couldn't afford to give her any just from my own personal account because I'm like really tight this month before I start work, and I don't even know when I'm going to get paid. And and he's like, "Do you need money?" And I was like, "Well, like I don't need it, but like it would really help if like I'm really going to be skating close to like paying my American Express bill." And he's like, "I'll send you the money tomorrow. How much is it?" And I told him.
How much was it?
It was like $900.
Okay.
And I was like, "I'll pay you back. I'll totally pay you back." And he's like, "No, I don't want you to, like this is what we're supposed to do to each other for each other." And I was like, "Okay." That made me feel really good, because like it takes a lot. Like I've only asked for money twice in my whole life.
Yeah.
From anyone. And so I was just like, well, like
this is the second time.
And he was telling this was the third time. Okay. The other 2 times have been from friends. And that was like when stuff was about to get turned off. And it was way more dire than I was making it out.
And it's hard to ask money for people.
Especially someone that I don't want him to think that I'm just going to be there taking it, But I think it was a little test in my own self to see if he's going to come through, Well, he didn't. It never came. He never even brought it up again. It never showed up. Not to mention the fact I was sending him a postcard every day from the moment I left that base in Djibouti to the time up until like 3 weeks ago when I knew he would be out of the country, wouldn't even be there to pick them up.
Yeah.
I sent him one every single day.
Whoa.
Just so he would get mail, just so he would know I was thinking about him. Yeah. And and I said something to him at one point, just like, like he would say he's going to send me something, and then he never did, like a coffee maker, at one point, and I was just like, no, like that's so silly, he's like, you'll love it. And then, of course,
it just never
comes. And then, I was like, well, every day I do all this stuff, and like it would just be really nice if you sent me a letter or something. Like it'd be great to get mail from you,
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I already sent you something, and I was like, well, you're just saying, or I said, he's like, I sent you I'm going to send you something. And I was like, oh no, he said he's already did. And I was like, whatever, now you're going to send it tomorrow. And he's like, I already sent it 2 weeks ago. Nothing. Nothing. So I was like, gosh, like, that's really bad. Like, you can't just, like, not come through. You can't just lie.
Like, no, I sent something.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, how'd you think this was going to work itself out?
Yeah, like, it's just got, everything gets lost.
I can see the idea of, like, I will send you something, and then you just don't do it because you don't come through. But, like, when you haven't even sent it.
Yeah.
How? Like, this is going to.
Yeah, it's
going to blame
backfire.
it on the post office?
So then he goes away for like a week or whatever on some special mission, which I knew he had said he would have to go to some other part of Africa. He couldn't tell me when and where. But I knew he would be gone for, up to a week maybe.
Okay.
So he was. I still had some emails from him or whatever. And then after a week, we were talking, and I was like so excited to talk to him. It was like on a Sunday 4 weeks ago. And I hadn't talked to him all week. I was like so excited to hear from him. And
did you get worried about him at this point?
I was worried, and I was also really upset because we hadn't really discussed like the financial thing, and I had to like really figure it out. Like I had to like sell some of my clothes. Like
because you really couldn't make do.
I really couldn't. I
was
was like way worse off than I
hate that when you're like, don't even tell me. Like I'd wasted a week when I could have been trying to get money, and I was like, okay, it's coming.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I could have like hustled.
Yeah.
And so, I had to talk to him about it, and I got upset as I was talking to him about it, and he was like, I have $200 right here. He's like showing me, and I'm like, 200? Like, and he's like, I'm sending it to you right now. I got out of the ATM, I'm sending it to you right now. And I was like, I don't even want it at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I already figured it out.
Yeah.
And I was like upset, and then he was mad that I was upset, and then he's like typing on the computer, which he's, always doing. So I'm like, what? You're emailing while we're, and I was like, why don't you call me back after?
Have an argument.
Yeah.
Come on, let's do
why don't
it.
you call me back after you're done with your emails? And he was like, fine, and he hung up on me. Yeah. And then
that's a tough move.
So that is literally the last time I heard his voice.
Really?
Yeah. He, I thought like I couldn't get a hold. Like I tried calling him back and calling him back and calling him back. I never heard anything. And then I was like, oh my God, like he's always said, like when he's done with something, he'll just walk away.
And you thought that's what he was doing?
And I thought that's what he was doing. And so I was devastated, and then like I got an email from him like the next afternoon when I was at work. I'd been working for a week at that point. And
the day after you wanted to have this argument, he said he'd call you back.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I just didn't hear from him all night long until like the next afternoon, and I'm like, and then he just sent me an email. It's like, I just want you to know I love you, and I was like, oh, thank God,
Yeah.
And then he wrote me back right away and was like, I'm just I just didn't want to argue with you, like
He said that?
He's like, but that doesn't change anything about the way I feel about you. Still love you. So I was like, okay, everything's fine. And then the email started coming like every other day, and then every 2 to 3 days, and then every 4 days. And apparently, like from what he told me, he was embedded somewhere in the middle of Africa. He couldn't tell me where. Just like, but as the day started drawing near, like, weeks, and, now it's been 3, he was supposed to be here 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
So, and after the last time we talked, it was like 2 weeks before he was supposed to be back. And the emails just started getting more sparse, and like we're going through conversations differently on the emails, but everything still seemed fine, I was still sending him pictures, and I was waiting for him to come home, but I didn't know when. And I just had kind of resolved myself to thinking,
You're supposed to be out already.
Yeah, you're supposed to be out, but it's the military, there's no schedule. They can keep you whenever they want.
Are you feeling hurt at this point, or what are you feeling?
I'm just I'm a mess because I'm working, but emotionally I'm exhausted. But I have to be like so mentally.
Were you thinking about it at work while you're trying to write roast jokes?
Yeah, tons of time. I'm checking my email all day long.
And so you're not
hoping he calls, like nothing. And, I'm sick. I feel like I can't eat, when I do eat, I feel nauseous, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then I just started feeling like something was wrong, like I got an email from him, not this last Sunday, but the Sunday before last. And it said, hey, are you still working? Hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Are you still working 15 to 20 hour days? What's your schedule like in the next 7 to 10 days? Get back to me, sexy. And it was like this winky face thing. And I was like, first of all, he always says he loves me in emails. So.
Yeah.
And I don't work 15 to 20 hour days.
Yeah, what do you mean?
So it felt really weird. And I was like, oh my God, he must be coming home.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? I email you every day, Like,
were you emailing him every day?
I was emailing him every 2. It was like really hard.
Back?
No. And so I was like, it sounds like that wasn't meant for me. It sounds like it was meant for someone else. And so I just started thinking like, maybe this guy is already here, maybe he's in New York or whatever. And I started looking at the timestamps because sometimes it would say it was sent from his iPhone, and sometimes it was not. It was just sent from a computer.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if you can use your iPhone and a computer, then you're not in Africa,
Because there's no iPhones in Africa.
No, it's not that it's, but why would you go to the computer lab and,
when you can just use your iPhone?
Yeah, when you can just sit in there and be on your iPhone.
Oh,
or
right.
you can just, because he definitely would send me stuff
Do
from
they
his
get
iPhone.
Wi-Fi in the bases?
Yeah.
So everyone can just use their phones to
Everyone can use their phone on the base.
Oh.
So if you have Wi-Fi and you're sending me stuff from your iPhone,
There's no reason to go to the
how
computer
come
lab.
you can't Skype with me from your iPhone? How
Yeah.
come you can't, if you can log into the internet and use Wi-Fi?
Yeah.
So I was just like, no. And then the time code, when he would reply, I would make a mental note of like when he was replying, and it would say 3 hours difference, basically.
Oh my!
Like it said he sent it at 7:49, but I was reading it at 4:49, which means on East Coast time he's
Not
sending it
East
from his
Djibouti time, but
Right.
Eastern America time. Yeah.
So I'm like,
Is Djibouti a country, by the way, or a
Yeah,
city?
it's a country.
Okay, cool. I knew that, of
So
course.
then I decided to Google, to really look deeper, to Google his name, to find out what I could. And I knew his name. I knew from what he told me he was from Brooklyn. No record of him in Brooklyn. No record of him in Bushwick. No record of him in New York.
Okay.
And then I Googled even further. I paid and I kept seeing stuff for a Derek Freeman in Connecticut. And I was like, I didn't mean to say his name, but
It's all right. You probably should.
I know.
What's the difference?
I just don't want to
Cause pain to some person that's not.
No. I don't want to be harmed myself. So anyway, I end up looking further, and I basically find, because I knew he was a catcher. He played baseball. He was a catcher, and he told me he had played baseball in college, that he got a full scholarship to Massachusetts, to a college in Massachusetts. And so I was like, well, if he went to college, there's got to be some record of him playing college baseball. Well, I can't find any record, but I do find record of him playing baseball in high school, catching in Connecticut at Parrish High School. And I'm like, well, Connecticut is not Brooklyn. So I look deeper, and like the email that's set to the same Derek Freeman is the email that is the same mailing address, or the mailing address is the same as the one in Djibouti that I've been sending all of his gifts to.
What do you mean? Wait, what do you mean? His mailing address in Connecticut?
Yeah, but all of your addresses come up. You know, every place that you've registered or where you've lived. I paid a website.
You did one of those?
Yeah.
I've always thought of doing one of those.
Mm-hmm. It was like $4. It wasn't like even expensive.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe it's when
But I also
thought
double checked it against myself to make sure, because like it said he had all this family.
Yeah.
And he told me he had no family.
So you checked your own stuff?
I checked my own stuff to see like what it said about my own self. And, you know, it definitely said that I had like grandparents.
Yeah.
Who had lived at a certain address, but
those things really work? You get all their old like information
of the people who've lived at certain addresses.
Okay.
So then I thought, well, if
what
it's
programs do you use? Which site? You know?
It's called like Spokio or something. I don't even know. Like as soon as I did the searches for him, it kept coming up, and his brother's name really started popping up the most because his brother's on Facebook, and I was like, wait, he has a. I didn't think he had any family.
Did you find his brother's Facebook?
Yeah.
Look for pictures of him and his brother?
Yeah, but I couldn't unless his brother, unless I was his friend.
Let me ask you a question before. Did you think of, were your options, let me send a request to his brother, or were your options, let me start a fake account and try to get his brother to friend a fake?
At that point, I was so emotionally overwhelmed that I just sent his brother a message.
Oh.
And I said, hey, my name's Sarah. I'm friends with your brother Derek, if it's the same Derek that's in the Army. Anyway, I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
I didn't try to put anything else, but I wish I had had somebody like you send
Any
it.
feelers, yeah. What do you mean someone like me send it?
So that it doesn't... So what if his brother calls Derek, you know what I mean, and says like, hey, this chick Sarah Tiana is like... Then he's going to know. And I still wanted to let him hang himself.
So if I try to befriend it, yeah.
You know? So, as I'm looking... I find that he's from Connecticut and that there's a woman living with him with his last name.
With Derek Freeman. There's a Mrs. Derek Freeman?
Apparently. Yeah. It was devastating because it's like all your worst nightmares are coming true because you totally realize that you've been played, but it's not even me. It's like, how could you even say that to your family? You know, like how could you
say what to your family?
Act like your parents were dead. And the only reason I knew his parents weren't dead is because the same mother that was registered on the addresses also had a Facebook account, and Facebook didn't come around, you know, before 16 years ago, so she would never have created that account before she passed away, you know, whatever.
Right. She's supposed to have died 16 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When he was 17. So if she has a Facebook account now...
So he had a whole family the whole time?
I don't think he has kids. I don't even know if he's still married, but there was I remember him telling me that his ex-girlfriend lived in Puerto Rico and that he had met her there, and this lady, Lillian, who, you know... is his wife or whatever, or, you know, the woman that was living at his address is from Puerto Rico, and you know, yeah.
Man.
So it's kind of hard because you find it and I was so upset, you know, like
when you realize this was him and he had a wife.
Yeah, and that he was just like telling me what he wanted me to hear, you know? So then I really just started asking myself, like, why would somebody do this?
Yeah,
you know?
what did he have to gain?
I also don't. So then, as soon as I found that,
did you feel dumb?
No, I felt really smart for figuring it out before I walked down the aisle or let him move out here. You know what I mean? Because he was supposed to move here and stay here.
He was never going to move here.
No, he was never. As far as I can tell. I mean, he might have tried to come out here and act like he was just so he could fuck me
With the
or
trips
whatever.
to San Diego, like, planned ahead of time so he could, like, get out of the idea, like, get out and
Not
see
that I
other
know
people?
of.
Okay.
You know, I honestly think that the reason he has been MIA for the last month is because he knew he was coming home and he just had to like figure it out how he was gonna. I mean, he could be getting a divorce right. I have no idea.
Do you think he was trying to get the MWR to fly you out there because he didn't have any money, but he wanted to bone you?
Yeah,
and he's like, "We'll
totally.
get you a hotel."
Yeah.
And when it finally came through, it's like, "Well, it's too late."
Yeah, totally.
Man.
And so,
what would you have felt if he had done that? If you had like boned and then found
I
out?
would have been
Worse?
even way more upset, you know, because I think it's been easier for me to like move past it this last week, knowing A, I figured it out for myself, B, I'm not physically attached to him. Like my life really doesn't have to change. I can just continue to go on as I have been because I've been living without him for 2.5 months.
Yeah.
Technically, you know, I haven't been touching him or kissing him or, you know, it's like
You
I'm
only
not
kissed
missing.
once, really.
Yeah, I've only kissed him once. So I don't even,
Man,
you know.
Sarah.
So, but I also found out that I don't even think he's in the special forces. I'm not even sure that he's in the army.
What's he doing there?
He could be a contractor. Like, I don't even know. Because I had my friend... this was also so stupid. My uncle's a general, so I can get any information that I want.
Did you ever think to call your uncle and say, "Can you look this guy up for me? I need you to."
I was about to, but I asked some other friends who I know are in elite parts of the military that, you know, they don't let me talk about, so therefore I know that they're being honest. And we've been friends for a long time, and I've been single for a long time, so I know that it's not like them trying to fuck me to like tell me something I don't want to hear. They're just my friends. And I mean, I've done so many of these tours, so I know tons of people in the military, and I have tons of people who will have my back that I can trust, who have come through for me in plenty of times. And so I called in some favors, and I sent them pictures of him that he had sent to me, of him in the field with weapons or whatever.
What was it? What do you think? Okay,
and they were like, "No, I see rank in 5 different places. The weapons are wrong."
You see what?
Rank, when you're in the special forces, you're not allowed to have rank showing.
Oh, so they see rank in 5 different pictures.
In 5 different pictures. Yeah, there's no way. And then they said...
What's special forces like Jason Bourne? Oh, that's different.
No, it's different. Special forces
So,
is like act of valor.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
You know, they can survive in the forest with a knife forever.
Yeah.
They're like, no, the weapons are wrong, the boots are wrong, the uniform's wrong. You know,
Really?
Yeah.
But it'd be enough to fool someone who doesn't know.
Yeah, and he was also like, my friend was like, if he's only in E5 and he's been in for 10 years, then he's a fucking pussy, and he's an idiot, you know, and like, you know, all this. And I was like, but then I was like, well, if he was in the special forces, would he even be allowed to show me pictures of him in there? And he's like, no. So I was like, okay, well then maybe he is, you know.
Oh,
but then
the ones who's showing you.
I had other friends, and I would show him the email.
Did you want to? Okay, at this point when you're trying to go through all the sleuthing, what are you hoping to find out?
Well, for me, knowledge is power, and so the more I know, the more I can defend myself in an argument.
Yeah, but what are you hoping to find?
What am I hoping to find?
You're doing.
Oh my God! I mean, I think part of me just wants it to all be a lie. You know, that to be a lie. That he really is who he says he is, and he had to go through all these, you know, circles to make sure that like that story stayed true, just to protect himself in the military or whatever.
All right.
But you know, the very last. First of all, I haven't been hearing from him for you know, every 2 to 4 days.
But as you're finding this out, what if he was like, okay, yes, I do have a family, I do have this, but I couldn't tell you any of that. But I still love you. Like, were you thinking of those things at all?
Well, yeah.
You must have been having like...
I mean, a million things are racing through your head, but at the same time, I'm like, no, it's already done. You know, you've damaged it. If you would have told me all that up front, if you would have told me you had no money, my feelings would still be the same.
Right.
If you would have told me you weren't in the special forces, my feelings would still be the same.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't change anything.
You think he was just doing that for like, would he do that to lots of people?
Oh, I'm sure. I think he had plenty of women. And I think that email was not for me. I think it was for somebody else.
David Taylor had that once when he broke up with Bridget.
Yeah?
This really pretty girl. And he got an email from her that was like trying to get back together and on and again, off again. And he got an email saying, hey, I miss you. Last night was so much fun. He goes, last night?
Uh-oh.
And he goes, wrong David. Mm-hmm. He goes, did autocorrect on the, not autocorrect, but autofill, when she puts DAV. Forgot about David Taylor completely, and then just filled in, she just sent it.
Yeah. No, my friends were like, no. I even had them read some of the emails.
And to what? So they can like go over it with
because a big thing the biggest red flag, the biggest mistake he made was that, not thinking that I would check, that I'm smart enough to figure it out.
So you haven't talked to him about this?
Mm-mm. He's actually... I thought about that too. A lot of things have gone through my head in the last few days because...
When did you find this out?
Okay, so it all kind of started Thursday. Today is Monday. So on Thursday, we taped our first show for The Burn, and I get an email from him right around 8 o'clock, right at the time that the show is taping. And he should know that, because he knows I'm taping the show. But even if he doesn't know the time, whatever, it doesn't matter. And so, it was kind of putting things off on me, like... I know you're really busy. I feel like we've drifted apart. Like maybe you're questioning your love for me or whether you ever loved me in the first place. And there were 2 emails kind of back to back. And one was from an iPhone and one was from a computer. And I was like, it's really shitty. And then also, it's really shitty that you're trying to put this off on me. Like, I'm the one that's not present. I'm the one that's pulling away, you know? When I've been nothing but, like, committed and here for you. And so... After talking to my friends, I sent him an email that was like, when can we talk? I feel like if we just have a phone conversation.
At this point, you already know.
I hadn't done research yet. I was like, when can we talk? I haven't, I just feel like if we can have a conversation, we can really settle this, I love you. So then I get an email from him like 3 hours after that. And I'm like, these emails have been coming every 4 days. Yeah. So getting one in 3 hours is pretty good. And so it says, yes, we do need to talk. So good news. I'm going to be in New York on Monday. But the bad news is I have to go to an undisclosed location for 2 weeks. And undisclosed is in quotation marks. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like, this is exactly why I want to get out of the military. I have no idea what's happening, All I care about is you, and I just want to be with you. And I'm like, that's fucking bullshit. Like, there's no way. Like, you don't get to come to New York and then have to leave to go to some undisclosed...
That's Jason Bourne stuff.
Yeah. And so I was like, so I just don't even email him back. And then 4 hours later, I get another email from him. I was like, did you get my email?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now he wants a response.
I'm like, oh, interesting. So I don't respond to you right away. And that's when I started realizing that all of this is about is control. And like what he can do. And because he has no power, because he's not financially successful, because he's unhappy with his life, this is how he gets off, by controlling and manipulating women through the web. So whether he has like an eHarmony account, whatever he's doing, I'm sure I am not the first person that he has done this to. And he has figured out...
You're sure? You're positive about this?
I just have a gut feeling.
Such a good backstory ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like if you go into it with lies...
If he's really has this much information, this isn't the first time he's spouting all of this. Right, it's worked before. Right. And you keep doing it because it works. And so I'm the one that figured it out. And I'm the one that put up... So that's why I'm also, like, I'm upset, I'm hurt that someone would even consider doing that to another human being. But I also know I'm resilient, that I can take it, I can handle it, and I caught you, motherfucker. That's why I haven't talked to him. Because I know...
That was it?
No. Well, so he sent me that email that was like, did you get my email? Yeah. And I said, yes. And when I said, yes, of course. I'm not... Oh, he said, I know you're, like, consumed with work, or what. No. I was like, I'm not consumed with work. When you call, I will answer. I'm not consumed with work. I just have a job. When you call, I will answer. An hour later, that email seemed kind of short. Are you mad at me? Are you frustrated? Do you hate me? Do you not love me anymore? I love you. Yeah. And I'm like, how are these emails rolling in right and left when you're not even in the country yet? Supposedly.
He said he's going to be in New York.
Yeah, on Monday. And I'm like, no, I'm not a fucking idiot, dude. And so I just like, I don't respond. And then I just say, you know what? I'm just going to make him feel at peace, because maybe he is going through a lot. Maybe
so
he's really freaking out. Maybe he's, just getting back in and he has to go through some sort of psychological evaluation. Maybe he has to, because how can you just release someone who's been killing people with their bare hands for 10 years, back into the wild of America and let him just kill me in my sleep?
Do they do that? What do they do?
Oh, yeah, they kill people with their bare hands. So,
No. I'm saying, do they just release him and say you're done
apparently,
now?
Because that's what I was thinking.
Hope the
so I sent him,
happen.
yeah. So then I sent him an email that was like, listen, I just got really nervous when you said you thought things were different and you thought I was pulling away, or that, that you were feeling disconnected. That made me really nervous, but I'm here to, like, it was this whole long email that I sent him about how I'm here to stay. I love you. Like, nothing has changed. My feelings haven't changed. I still care about you just as much as I ever have, and I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Then I don't hear from him for another day and a half. And I'm like, unbelievable, like here I am, like putting myself out there, getting an email from you every, 4 emails in one day, and then all of a sudden it's got to be 2 days again?
Where is the, hey, what are you doing?
No, I
know you have a brother.
Well, because I'm still waiting to make sure I think it through, and I also want to have more information. At this point, I don't have the information from my friends in the military. So Friday night,
I got a letter once last year. I was looking for Coachella tickets. This year, I was looking for Coachella tickets, and they said, I saw on something like, if you, just so you know, it's wristbands this year instead of tickets, and they said do not send anyone money on Western Union for tickets. And so I was like, oh, all right, fine. I kind of glanced over that. And then I was looking for tickets, and I found one. People like on Craigslist would sell them. And this guy's like, yeah, I have the tickets. I can totally give them to you. And I was like, tickets or wristbands? He goes, yeah, wristbands. And I was like, all right, something's up. And he goes, just, West me, you need half the money, and then I'll meet you for the rest because I don't know you. And then I just go back, does this normally work? Because I just figured, this is clearly what it is. I already thought, and then the Western Union, no response. That's it, done.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the next guy.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I would have liked that answer. Like, yeah, usually, but I guess not for you. I wanted a response to be like, I wanted to know. Don't you want to know?
Yeah, I do. But here's the other thing. So this was Friday afternoon that I sent him that email telling him that I'm not going anywhere and that I'm fine. Because at that point, I really was like trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I'm waiting to really talk to him on the phone and want to do anything over email.
And hear a possible reason.
I want to actually hear his voice and sense and get that feeling, because I feel like over email my own emotions are going into everything.
Yeah.
And I can't really look at the situation until I hear his voice.
Right.
So then Friday night I am texting one of my friends who's a Marine and then other friends in the military who are super high up. And I'm showing them the pictures that he sent me. And then that's when they're like, no way, dude. And then I'm asking them about the undisclosed look. And they're like, lies. And they're like, if anybody tells you they're getting out of the military in less than 3 months when you meet them, they're liars.
Oh, really?
And
why? Because no one thinks to say that?
Because I guess the military, the way that they handle the exit process is just not like that. Also, like, you don't ever have to go somewhere when you come home. Once you're out, you're out. You get to go home, and then you never have to come back in except for reserves or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there were like all these situations just don't match up. And then also you don't send emails to your family that would ever make them worry about you or think that something could be wrong. That's a big training, a big part of their training.
Going into an undisclosed.
Yeah. So
location.
I almost like don't want to like tell people these tricks because I don't want people to do this thing to women. But at the same time, I want women to understand what.
Unfortunately, I have about 6 female listeners, so those 6 are going to be really well prepared. But the rest.
So, anyways, so then I was like, "This is all." So then on Saturday morning, I get an email from him that says like, yeah, just like 2 days ago. Mm-hmm.
Today's
I'll
Monday?
actually read it to you.
Okay, yeah.
And then you can just hear what it says. So I will call you today. I'm bummed about tomorrow as I'm dying to see you and touch you. Because he also said, like, I wish I could just bring you to New York on Monday. And I had half of mine to on Monday to email him and be like, I'm here. Doing press with Jeff Ross for The Burn, you know?
Yeah.
He said, I will call you today. This is Saturday. I'm bummed up, and this is Saturday morning at, 7 a.m. his time. I'm bummed about tomorrow as I'm dying to see you and touch you.
What's tomorrow? So what's Sunday?
Tomorrow, am I guessing,
Bummed in what do you mean?
I think he's getting Sunday and Monday confused.
Okay. What's Monday?
Monday was the day he was going to be in New York.
Bummed in
So he's getting
okay.
his dates confused because he's lying.
Okay.
This has been eating away at my heart for a while now, and I want you to know that I love you and stare at your pictures every day, daydreaming about you. I'm so in love. I wasn't saying that I feel different in any way about us, just that we have been distant lately, and I don't like it. I need you. I love you, Sarah. And, I like in the email before that, I actually said, like, I love you too. I just don't understand why you can email me and not call me.
Yeah.
It seems like you're dodging that question.
Yeah.
And then no response to that. And so, that was Saturday.
Why do I think he won't call you?
Because he is not where he's supposed to be. But also, he's going to be calling me from his cell phone number, and then I'll have his cell phone number.
Oh.
So, okay. So then...
Oh, you don't have
just a little bit more of the story. I know you have to go. But
I don't have to add 30 minutes.
So then he doesn't call me.
Has the brother written back?
No. I know. I've been trying to, wait. So this was Saturday morning. I got that email, like, I'll call you today. No call.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Of course.
Of course. Oh, no. I'm sorry. This was Sunday.
That he wrote you that?
That he wrote me that email. Yes. I'll call you today. I'm bummed about tomorrow. So Monday or whatever. So, no word from his brother. So,
yeah.
He doesn't call me on Sunday. And I'm like, wow. All right. And then...
you had to expect that at this point, right?
Yeah, at this point, I'm just like, whatever. So, he sends me that email, like, I'll call you today. I miss you. I love you. I need you. And I just don't respond because I'm waiting for him to call me.
Yeah.
And then this morning, I get an email that says, I emailed you yesterday and have not heard back. Like, oh, I'm sorry. If I don't email you every 10 seconds like I normally do, all of a sudden you're paranoid. Like, you can't. So I just don't even.
He wants you to want him?
Yeah, I guess so.
What do you think his thing is?
And then, so then I just haven't been responding. And so he's emailed me a few times today, and then he actually tried to Skype call me at like 7:30, but I didn't answer. I was at
Why?
work. Because that's the thing.
Why?
Because
today he tried?
Yeah. Because here's the thing. I'm just not ready to talk to him yet, and I don't know if I ever will be. But what I realized is, like, this whole thing is about controlling me.
Yeah.
And it's about telling me what I need to hear. It's about influencing me. It's
so he's
about
just going to tell you something.
Manipulating me. But I also want him to wonder what I'm thinking. And I don't want to let him know that I know anything. I want him to torture himself like I've been torturing myself, not knowing what's going on with him for a month. And I'm not going to let him off the hook by telling him, I got you, motherfucker. Yeah. Like, he's going to figure it out. And maybe one of your listeners in Connecticut's just going to be like, I heard this comic talking about you. I just want other women out there to know, like, that, or men.
Do you think any part of him actually he did love you, but he just, like, I can't make this happen because I have this wife, but I really do love her, and I just wanted to keep going. I have no idea.
When one lie starts, how do you believe anything?
Yeah, how do you know?
Because if someone really loves you and cares about you, they'll be honest with you. Like, I am honest to a fault, and my big thing is honesty. Like, I've been through a boyfriend that's cheated on me before. I can get through that. I can't get through the dishonesty, not telling me the truth.
I'm cheating on you?
Well, he did admit it.
Really?
When I asked him, he admitted it. And he admitted that he thought he was falling in love with her.
Oh, wow.
And that was the part that hurt, not the sex. That. You know what I mean? Yeah, we talked about that in your bathtub.
In my bathtub.
You were in your bathtub. Let's clarify. I was on the phone. But, that's when we can have an honest conversation. To me, that's adults moving on and communicating. But when you break my trust by lying to me, there's no way back from that. And now I know. And part of me wants to hear him admit it. And part of me just wants to be like, because he always said with women, when he's done with you, he's done with you. And he just walks away and never looks back.
But you don't know if that's true either.
I don't know if that's true, but I think he deserves a dose of his own medicine.
Are you still holding on to some of the stuff he says? Like, well,
if he really cares about me, if he really loves me. No, he doesn't. But if he really did, and if this was all a lie and a misunderstanding, then he will fight for me to understand that.
Right.
But if he's not fighting hard enough, he's not even calling.
What percentage of you is still holding out hope that he does that?
Maybe 1%.
1? Mm-hmm. And still like maybe
10%. But most of me is like also just like proud of myself for figuring it out. Proud of myself for putting it out there. I'm a little embarrassed, that like,
you feel like you were used or something? Just
used, but just manipulated again. Like a big, but
I'm sorry about this, Sarah.
I know.
That sucks.
It does suck. And it also sucks because, about 9 or 10 years ago, I got out of a really verbally abusive, manipulative relationship that was really hard for me. And, it hurt me very deeply. And it took me years to get my confidence back, to get my sea legs back, to believe in myself again, to go out there and be honest with women and say, like, you deserve a man that treats you like this, but you also deserve respect. And also, like, you can't, like, deserve respect for a man until you have respect for yourself, and you can't give that man respect.
You think you weren't respecting yourself?
No, not when you let somebody manipulate you like that.
No, how is that your...
No, I'm not saying this time. I'm saying this time I caught it, as opposed to I was with that guy for, the guy that hurt me for 3.5 years, and it was torture, and it took, a long time for me to repair that independence, and get that back. And so, I never talk about that guy because that's what he wants.
He wants you to talk about him.
He told me once, he said...
The first guy.
Mm-hmm. The verbally abusive guy, he said, the good thing about... I started doing stand-up, like, right after we broke up.
Yeah.
And it was really therapeutic for me. And I remember him calling me, like a year after I had started. And I didn't know it was him, or else I wouldn't have picked up. And, he was, like, joining, trying to get in the FBI or whatever, so he needed me to lie for him again, and I just said no, I wouldn't do it, and because I don't tell lies, and so he's like, well, good luck with stand-up. I'm sure, the good thing about our relationship is, like, now you'll have plenty of material.
Yeah.
And I said, nothing you ever did to me was funny, and I will never mention you on stage because I hope people forget you.
Oh, what do you say to that?
Nothing. What could you say, And I've never talked about him on stage, ever. Never brought him up. Nobody know. You don't know about him. You've never even heard of him.
No, I never heard about him.
Yeah, because I hope he disappears. And I hope this guy disappears, too. But not, I don't want anybody to harm him or anything.
I hope he goes away. That's what happened with all exes. You're like, just go live in Iowa in a castle.
Just go away. The good thing is that comes out of, like, I have no regrets about anything I've done in my life. And I don't regret meeting him because I never did,
Yeah, I guess not, huh? You just like, it's just like those, I don't know.
It was just like a fantasy, and it was easy for me to buy into it because I wanted to, Every girl wants to feel like you met the perfect person who cares about you just as much as you care about them, and
love at first sight stuff.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've cared about anybody. It's been years, and I've really just been so focused on myself, I even made that bet with Tebow about shoes,
What was the shoes bet?
Like months ago, I was like all upset about some booty call that wasn't like going well.
Yeah.
And he was like, you just need to stop doing that, like that guy doesn't deserve you, and you deserve to be in a relationship with someone who cares. And I was like, I just don't think it's in the cards for me to even
forever.
Yeah, I'm just not sure at this point, because I feel like I'm also, my job on Earth is like to translate the things that happen to me into empowering.
That's not your job on Earth. That's just one of the things you do.
It is one of the things I do, but it feels like the important thing that I'm supposed to be doing right now is like translating what happens to me into in teaching people like how to
do you feel a lack of like that sort of like closeness with a man? Do you feel like there's a
like I can't do it?
No, but like you need it and you're not getting it. Like when you don't have vitamin C for a while and you feel like gross. Do you feel like you need that now?
I mean, I feel like you.
I mean, sometimes it ebbs and flows where you're like, no, I don't want a relationship now. I just want, but then after a while, you're like, I need some sort of connection.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever not needed that. Like I'm a very emotional person. I have a lot of love to give, and it's hard, when you feel like you're really vulnerable and you trust people and you're good to them. Like I'm a really great girlfriend.
I'm sure.
I mean, I'd send him a postcard every day. I sent him care packages and made him cookies, I bought him shirts.
Did he get those?
Yeah.
He got them. He would say something about them.
Oh, yeah, he would eat them, like while we were talking. That's how I knew that address worked.
Okay. And that address was in Djibouti?
Yeah. That's where I met him.
Maybe he was just a contractor.
It could have been. I don't even know at this point.
Could have been just in the army, too. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean... The good thing is, I get to still be me, and he has to be him. And, that's the only thing that I can take away from this is that, my life doesn't change. I'm still a good person, and he has to live with who he is and what he did.
There's never any justice. Nobody's ever going to like.
There isn't any justice, but the only thing that I can do is, not give him my power. And my power is, letting him know that, I know. I just want him to try to figure out. Maybe he's gonna go through anger, regret. What did I do? He's gonna be rethinking everything, and he's gonna be looking. If I were him, I would be looking through my emails and scouring and trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, he even said to me today on an email, "I see you posting on Twitter. Why aren't you answering your email?"
And what do you?
And I'm like, because you said you would call me. I didn't reply, but that's what I'm thinking.
Do you want to just reply and just until you call me, we've got nothing. You need to call me.
Well, then he did call me, and I didn't.
Weeks.
And then I didn't answer because I just wasn't.
Are you scared?
I'm scared of
not handling yourself in the.
I feel like I need some time away from it before I can handle it in a way that's not over, crazy.
Emotional, yeah.
Because I feel like right now I would just bring in a lot of useless anger, and that's what I have friends for. I have family here. You guys are all my brothers, and it's all my friends here have been so helpful, and just whisking me up, Justin and Nick went to the beach on Saturday, and just they've all been just trying to help
Sunday
me take
just I heard you guys had such a good time.
Yeah.
The beach, that sounds wonderful.
It was so great, and it was
trying to cheer you up.
Yeah, just hanging out and just remembering that this is what is so great, and this is why I'm lucky.
It sucks when you get really into a guy or a girl, whatever, but then it becomes that's all you can think about, and then you realize you forget that's 10% of my life.
Yeah, exactly.
And it sucks. It's all you think about right now. It's when the fucking whatever team you loses in the Super Bowl and you can't think of anything else, but later that's not important.
No, it's not important. And what is important is my job. I'm so proud of myself for the show, and I'm really
Man, Sarah, this sucks.
It does suck.
It's just this is just pain. What do you...
It sucks because I feel like I haven't done anything to deserve it. I'm never mean to anybody. I don't shut anybody out. And even when guys ask me out, I apologize and say, I'm sorry. I'm just not interested. I don't want to waste your time or, let you buy me dinner and waste your money. I just don't, I feel like my time is so important to me. It's my number one thing that I cherish is every single minute of every day. I honestly feel like if I died tomorrow, I would be fine because I've lived such an amazing life. Because I honestly embrace everything. And
have you had any thought of like doing this with someone else?
No.
As revenge?
No.
Okay, that's good.
No, I don't think about stuff like that. But I just think that, like, the number one thing he robbed me of was my time. Like, he took time away in my head. You know, he just took mental time away from me. And that's really hard.
Usually when I end a relationship, I try to think like when I'm out of it a little bit, and I'm cried like you were doing.
Yeah.
I try to think like, well, overall, it's painful now, but overall, did I come out ahead or behind? And if I had like a good year and a shitty 2 months, it's like once those shitty 2 months is done, overall, this is good memories.
This is honestly the first time I've cried about it. You know,
really?
Like
let it out,
I've
baby.
gotten a little upset about it. Like I've had a moment where like a few tears fell, but like even like that whole month that he was like away and it was just all through email, like I remember trying to cry at some point because I was just so frustrated about the situation and I missed him and I just couldn't. And I think there's just something in my mind saying like it's not worth it, you know?
Not with crying over him.
And I was right. You know, it's like my gut is like always right. And it's right because I'm always honest. I'm honest with myself.
Yeah.
And I'm honest with other people. And so when you have that kind of honesty with yourself, you do have to trust your gut.
Feels good to cry.
It does. I've been
like
waiting to do this for like a month.
Pent up.
I feel bad. All these guys that are listening are going to be like, what an emotional lady. You know?
No, I think they get it at this point. That seems pretty bad to fall in love with somebody who's not real.
Yeah, you know, it's just like an illusion of a human being, and it's just like,
would it have been better if he was trying to get money out of you?
I mean, it could. I don't need what money. It's not like I have anything. I asked him for money.
He wasn't trying to do anything like that. It wasn't no like specific scam. It's probably just to fuck you.
I think it was just to fuck me, and I think.
Man, he probably could have even said I'm married, and you might have been okay with it.
I don't know.
But maybe.
No, I would never have been okay with
No?
that. No.
Oh, it's just me.
Yeah. No, you're fine with stuff like that. I'm not. But I just feel like I'm a good, honest person, and I just don't do that to people. I'm sorry, I need my chapstick. Oh. But, I mean,
there's just no
more
karma.
Baffled that, like,
what?
Human beings can do that, you know?
Yeah.
But that's just, you know, people are shitty. What are you going to do?
Don Barris said this once about relationships, that when you're young, you're 16, you know, when you fall in love at 16. Did you ever see that Brianna video?
Rihanna?
No, Brianna. It's this kid. He's like this. He looks like Justin Timberlake. He's 16, and he's holding a camera on himself and like going back and forth. And he's like, Brianna, I love you more than all the sands and all the beaches and all the universes and and just on and on. It's so flowery. And I'm just like, you're going to get crushed. Right. I just felt bad for that guy. Yeah. But Don says the first time you like somebody, you have feeling for somebody, your heart is open, like with your hands are open completely wide, and then you get crushed, you get destroyed, and then your arms open a little bit less. Yeah. I've told you this, right?
No, you haven't.
Get it. And to the point where it's like, when you're 33 or 34 and you meet somebody, your arms are barely open, and you're like, all right,
hugging
easy.
Myself.
So then when they crush you, even something like this, it's like, you're not going to make me go into a depression here.
Yeah, no, it's not going to change the way that I trust men, you know? I'm probably going to... No, because that's never changed in my life. Even after that happened with Aaron, even after I went through, you know, the manipulative, you know, verbal abuse, like all of that, all it's done is make me stronger, and it's just given me more, almost like ammunition, almost like more love to give. Like I just feel like every time it happens to me, like I don't know, like it makes me upset because I don't feel like I deserve it, but I just always think there's got to be a reason.
There's no reason. You still believe in God?
Yeah.
What would be the reason? There's just chance.
No, I just feel like the reason is that I'm going to talk about it, you know, that I'm going to make it therapeutic for other people.
Well, it's like, it sucks, but at least you can bring some like help to other people through it, or bring help to yourself through it. Like
when I talk about it and I have the courage to talk about it and make it funny, you know, hopefully if anybody else is going through that pain, like it just helps people conquer that too, you know? And like sometimes I feel like That's why this stuff happens to me. It's just because if you've seen my act in the last 2 years, it's so different.
Really?
Yeah, with all the deal breakers and talking about sex and just talking about like empowering women, empowering couples, empowering men to like notice when a woman isn't being honest, or telling women not to pretend that there's something that they're not when they're in the dating process, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like all of that stuff, like we live in a generation now where like, you know, everybody's getting divorced. Everybody.
Yeah, and quit lying about it.
Yeah, and 90% of the time, it's women that want the divorce.
Yeah,
And
but they pass down to the next generation of like, love is so possible. And it's like, why don't you just tell people?
Well, I think
it's possible
women
you're going to fuck up and get a divorce.
Yeah, like I'm honestly not scared of divorce either. But I also like, I feel like people get divorced because they don't say what they want and they're not honest with themselves before that ever happens. I think women put on this performance of like, I'm on my best behavior. It's like you're in prison and the only way to get out is to get a ring.
And you know what? People never do that. When I'm meeting guys, I never put on a false face.
Right.
I just put on my own face and they put on their own face.
Yeah.
And if I'm attracted to that guy, like, you know, friendly ways,
right,
then I'm like, I'm going to be friends with you. And
right,
other people that are like, oh, you're into like Ed Hardy and stuff, like, I'm not going to be friends with you.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But then you actually get drawn to what you're actually into.
Right. And I think women a lot of times, like, it's like you have to be on your best behavior to get out of prison, right? And so they act totally cool
but that's
with
the thing
everything.
where it's like, it's getting out of prison is getting a relationship, and that's not,
because that's what society has bred women to think, that if you're not married, somehow you're not lovable, somehow you're not. And let's be honest, most women don't want to get married; they just want to have a wedding.
Yeah,
and that's a big problem. And any woman that fakes an orgasm with you is a woman that is faking the whole fucking thing, because what she's saying is like, I'm not willing to ask you for what I want,
right,
which is the heart of all honesty. I'm not willing to be patient, you know, and I'm not willing to demand excellence. Like, those are 3 imperative parts of a relationship: being honest, saying what you want, saying what you need, and then giving to that other person too. And when you can't do that, you're saying, let's just get this over with. Like, let's just, whatever makes you happy for right now. And it's the same as saying, like, I'm cool with you going and playing video games with your friends. I'm cool with your mom. I'm cool with the fact that, you know, you watch football in your underwear, you know, whatever it is. But they're not cool with that. If it really bothered them, they would say something. And they're scared to say something because you might break up with them and then they have to start all over again.
But then the reality is then you just get cunty or bitchy.
Yeah,
boys or girls get like that.
Here's the thing.
Like, now you're just fighting over nothing.
Men never change. Women change. Women change. Because what happens is they get older and it's like their balls drop. It's like they grow, they figure out who they are and what they want because they're seeing what they don't want.
Yeah.
And if they would just be honest with themselves years before, I'm not saying all women, I'm certainly not saying all men, but this is what I've noticed. And I noticed this because I'm so honest. The guys are like, whoa, you know? Whereas there used to be women being like, it's cool. Nah, she's just really cool. Like, how many times have you said that about a girl? She's super cool.
And that just means she's not bossing me around constantly.
Right.
She's super cool. I mean, she's just like any dude I've ever met.
Right. I'm not bossy. I'm a really great girlfriend. But if you tell me you're going to do something and then you don't do it and I bring it up, we need to have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
Like, but
the
honesty and the true communication comes when we know that this isn't an end all, like, we're not breaking up, we're just having an argument, and we both need to figure out where we stand on that subject.
Right.
There's nothing wrong.
I used to lie to my ex, my wife, because I was like going to play cards with Caparulo or Renazisi late at night, and I was like, I'm just gonna go hang out at Caparulo's house, and she was like, okay, and then I call back, I'm like, hey, I don't know why, it just felt weird. I'm going to play cards. And she's like, yeah, okay, also okay, I'm going to sleep, by the way.
It's really weird. Like,
but I had to lie because of the exes before that, who would be like, "Why are you spending money on that? You should be spending money on me," or whatever it was.
Well, then that's when you just go like, "Hey, this isn't."
Yeah, if you're able to, but you're not able to.
Yeah. But the manipulator, the bad guy, you know, he
Derek
used
Friedman.
No, before Derek,
the verbally abusive guy.
Yeah, the guy I met in Georgia, like he would do that too. He would. I'd be like, "Where are you?" He's like, "Oh, we're at Mahoney's." But they were at another bar, Like,
Right.
why even tell me? What does it
Why
matter?
bother with the lie?
Why? Like, now there's just more that you have to remember.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's just so much effort. And like I said, my time is important to me. So why do I want to waste my time with lies? It's just way easier to remember shit when you're honest. And yes, it might
And it's
be
like,
a
it's not
problem.
the worst thing if the guy or girl you're into doesn't like one thing you do.
Yeah, that's
It's
okay.
It's okay for them not to like everything
Not
about
the end
you.
of the world. And if they think it's the end of the world, then they have an
And it's
issue.
like, well,
Move
it's
on.
okay. That's just too much.
Yeah. Okay.
They feel like, oh, you don't vote. I can't be with someone who doesn't vote. Like, really?
I mean, it sucks
All right.
because you probably don't like that about yourself either, but you have to be honest with the fact that, like,
I'm not
hey,
changing.
I don't like that you smoke.
Yeah.
I'm not going to just put up with it, and then once we're married, and now...
Pretend it's fine. You're like,
yeah,
I don't like
because
the
what
smell.
happens
I'll
now,
do
you're
it,
going
but I
to
don't
owe me
like the
half
smell.
of your income because I fucking changed? That's
Right.
so awful.
Yeah.
It's so crazy that the way the world works, and, like, to me, that's really manipulative of women
So how do
to
you-
say that.
Yeah. So how do you avoid falling for something like this in the future? Not that this is normal, but like,
Well, I just have to keep my eyes and ears open, and like, that's why
do you
I'm
love
like,
less now? Do you give yourself over less now?
no,
to
no,
people?
no, not at all. I think I'm just like, I'm really aware, and you see this happening all the time, like where people are like, they have a secret family somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like this happened to a friend of mine recently. Like her mom and dad have been together forever, and they just found out that he had a whole family in, South America.
Whoa.
And then like. Another friend of mine, like
interview
he
him
always
more
talked about his
podcast.
dad being in the CIA, and we used to say like, your dad's not in the CIA; he's just cheating on your mom.
And that's what it was?
5 years later, it never even
Man,
worked in the
secret
CIA.
organization is a great excuse.
Yeah.
They will not let me talk about this.
Yeah, but also like the CIA, like I have my own speculations that it's just like a cover up for like men who
Lots of
want to
stuff.
cheat.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just a dating site.
It could just be that.
It's
I
like
don't even
what's
know.
that one? Ashley Madison. We had a friend.
yeah.
We had a friend, like a friend of the community, and his dad worked for the CIA.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I can't tell you what I do. I just can't tell you. Like I'm not allowed to tell you." And then it came out years later. He was a mechanic for the CIA. I'm like, you were too allowed to say.
Yeah,
you just
you're
fixed
fine.
cars from 9 to 6. Yeah.
You and your wrench.
Man, Sarah,
I know.
it's weird. I saw you cried. I have way too much crying on a comedy
I'm
podcast.
so sorry.
It's okay.
Have other people cried on
Yeah.
you? Oh no.
Brody cried.
Who?
Brody Stevens.
Oh right. Oh my god, I love Brody.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite people in the whole world. I've asked him to marry me 4 times.
Have you seen his show?
He said no
The
to me
HBO
5
show?
times.
Really? And once.
No, I don't have HBO Go because I have
neither.
Time Warner, and they
it.
don't allow you to have it. And I pay for
I'm
HBO.
waiting for it to be on torrents. It's just not there yet. To be able to steal stuff. It's just that nobody's put it up yet. I got to get someone's password for HBO Go.
Yeah.
But it's great. Well, all right. Do you have any final words?
No,
about
I mean
this?
my
I mean,
final
we
words
covered-
are that I'm still like.
I think you said them.
I'm still happy. I'm still like always going to be, looking for love, but but that the caution doesn't change. And the reason that this happened to me was to retrain my mind to like, not just
What?
to not just accept everything, to like, not just like have
Can't be thinking
blinders
of
on.
lying.
No, because also like especially when you fall in love, like, you put on like you have love goggles
Yeah,
on.
yeah. And when you
And
see it later, you're like,
it
ooh,
just
that was shitty behavior.
It just
that I-
reminds me to like look in my peripheral and like not just like, and to be honest with myself that it's still possible, but you still have to trust people. And I'm like, where are we in the world if we can't trust anybody?
Yeah, we're fucked.
I mean, if I didn't trust you, I wouldn't be sitting here right now and
Yeah.
telling you my,
With the door locked.
crying
I
in
could
front.
easily rape you in here. I could easily rape you as you're
I'm
crying
pretty
about that
strong.
guy.
I'm pretty strong.
Yeah, that's fair. I fight dirty, though.
You're a scratcher.
That's how I get you.
You know-
Just scratch you on the arm. If you want me to stop, you'll let me do it.
My love for the military hasn't changed. My love for men in
Yeah.
life hasn't changed.
It's just one guy.
I'm
just
just
one
really-
shitty guy.
I'm just really sad that someone could do that to
Yeah.
somebody else. That's the only thing that sucks.
Well, you knew they could do it to someone else before that. It's you.
Sure.
You don't like the feeling of it.
I don't like the feeling that it wasn't. It's also that it's just me, and I also feel bad for his family.
Yeah.
Like if I had a son or daughter that was
Do you
out
ever
there
think-
telling
do you ever
people I
think of-
died in a car accident,
Yeah.
when I was,
Do you ever think of trying to find his family and tell him?
no,
Like the wife? You've thought
No.
about it.
I've thought about it. Sure,
Or you wouldn't do it?
no.
Too much drama?
I don't need to. I think somebody else will find out, and somebody will tell them. You know, it will hurt a lot more if it comes from somebody that's way closer. You know, but it's been tough, but like I said, like my life doesn't change. It just keeps going, and
you're writing on a Comedy Central show.
Working on a comedy.
You're doing something you really wanted to do, and selling your own stuff.
All my dreams are coming true in my work mode, and this just means that I can get back out there, you know, and like meet new people and great people, and
does your heart actually
go back to fancy hotels?
Yeah, that's right. Does your heart ever physically hurt?
I don't think I'm right there yet, you know, like I'm definitely getting closer after this conversation, but like no, I mean right now I think I'm still in the anger phase. I'm also really proud of myself
for finding out.
I could have this could have gone on forever.
I wonder what that brother would say. I wonder if he would write back.
I know, I wish.
I was trying to find Kate, my first girlfriend, Kate Hicks. She wouldn't talk to me. And then she wouldn't get on social media, and then finally she got a MySpace account. And I would check all the time. I Google her. I wanted to know what was going on in her life. Yeah.
And nothing.
And she started a MySpace account, but it's private. So I was like, I need to know what you're into. I just need to. I need. So I was like, I can't request it from me. She won't take it. She won't take my phone calls or emails.
Right.
So I had to like create a fake account. I like said I was from Baltimore, and I tried to get all these friends from the Baltimore, Maryland area. Because I was like, got to have at least 100 friends ready to go. You know, and the comments already there. Like, it was like going to be a month-long process. But I was like, how can I get these friends? So I figured I need a picture of a cute girl. Or like lots of pictures, but not too cute where it looks fake. So I just took all of Jen Kirkman's pictures. I just went online, and I found like 10 different Jen Kirkman pictures. And that's what I wrote. And I wrote like a fake profile in about 30 minutes. And guys would write me like, you're so funny, you're hilarious, on all the things you write. And I'm like, motherfucker, I wrote that in 30 minutes. I'm not that funny. It's just that I'm cute.
Aww.
And she accepted me, but then she only had like 4 other friends, and I'm like, ooh. I'm like, I gotta get out of this. This seems really weird.
You're a loser. It's funny what you can imagine someone to be like in your head.
Yeah.
And when fantasy takes over, where does reality stop? And so I have to just be moving forward. I just have to be cautious about not letting my fantasy of what I want my life to be like down the road invade what my life is like now.
Yeah.
And to just live more in the present. Yeah. Just live in reality, live in the present, and not just get too far ahead of myself.
Maybe don't look for someone in sort of special forces in another country.
You know, I mean, that didn't seem so crazy to me.
It didn't seem so crazy, especially if he's going to be out soon.
Especially military. You know my passion about the military.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, it's
He's going to be
wrong.
out in 3 months. That's totally fine. You hit it off with some guy.
It makes total sense. If you hit it off with some
guy in Iowa and he's like, I'm moving out to LA in 3 months, he'd be like, cool, let's Skype until you get here.
Yeah.
It'd be the same thing.
Just like Tony and his girlfriend, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, Jenny, like they're super happy. Now they have their own place. You know, like things do work out.
Yeah.
But I just can't have blinders on, and I just need to live in the present and not get too ahead of myself. And I can do that because I got good friends.
Yeah, this is a sad story, but it's not as sad as it has. Like, it's not an end.
Oh, it's not the end. I mean, I still get to have sex with tons of dudes. It's great. I'm not done. You know, for a while I thought I was done, and like.
Did you not want to fuck anybody for a while?
Right now?
No. Did you like?
When I met him?
Just found out.
No, I just found out. Like
have
yesterday.
You gone to anybody else? No, you haven't done it with anybody else.
No.
How long do you think you'll be ready to do that?
I don't know.
A little while.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe tonight. I don't know.
Really? Like, do you think you'd be ready for it?
No, it's going to be a while.
Okay.
I think I need to just like take some time to myself. You know. Yeah. Just watch a lot of Friday Night Lights and you know, just like get my fantasy in my mind working in a different direction. Like it's just like really changing course. So it's kind of like stopping a bike that's, you know, going really fast and just slowing down and then taking a different
instead of pressing stop on the front handle brakes.
Yeah, no, I'm flying off. You know what I mean? So instead, I'm just like gonna change course and. You know, I get to still do
going. You're fine. You were fine.
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
ran over
just
a speed
changing
bump
direction
without seeing it.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
Yeah, and I know, you know,
there's no fault. You didn't do anything wrong. You just came across like a shitty.
Yeah, manipulator.
You got attacked by a kangaroo. It's like it's not. You know what I mean? Like shit happens. Nobody did anything wrong.
Yeah. It'd be like breaking your arm or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just feel like I broke my arm for a little while and I was out of commission, but you know, now I'm back and I'm lucky to have great friends and a great job that keeps me really distracted. What do you keep writing in there?
Questions and then thoughts. I've had a thought for I have thoughts for songs sometimes. Like, if we talk about a song, I'll try to write it down because I always forget when I edit these whenever. But I like to use the songs I used that we talked about, like where I thought it. So I just thought of closing out with "It's My Party, I'll Cry If I Want to."
No, please don't.
Why, really?
Please play Chicago, Love Me Tomorrow. That's like one of my favorite songs.
That's what I'll do. What about Look Away? Remember that song, Look Away?
Chicago's greatest hits. I actually have 2 copies in case one gets too scratched.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I have it on a hard CD. Like, I don't even have it on my iPod or my iPhone.
Oh, really?
I need to put it on there, though. It made me feel so much better that you talked to me about this. Like, you're a really good friend.
Thanks, Sarah.
I really appreciate it.
I like you.
I know. I like you too.
I feel in these moments you're supposed to say something to people, but I know now there's nothing to say. You can't just fix things.
No, I'm just going to keep drinking and smoke some cigarettes and other things, and I'll be fine.
It's my party. I want to. All right, I'll leave the laugh factor now. The Arabs are going to stone me.
Okay. At Sarah Tiana on Twitter.
Oh, yeah. At Sarah Tiana.
Please tweet me and tell me that you're available.
SARA.
And please treat me with your correct
SARA.
H.
SARAHTIANA.
Sarah with an H, Tiana with a Tiana.
All right, and tell her how you like
the burn
because
on
she wrote
comedy.
it.
Yeah,
and
I might be on there too. So
yeah. All right.
I love you, Ari.
Thank
you
too,
so
Sarah.
much. I really appreciate it.
All right, I'm sorry you had to feel this way.
It's okay. I get to go through it with you, and like that's like more than a girl can ask for, having good friends.
Can I give you a hug when I press stop?
Ew,
right? No.
Okay.
All right, I feel like I should give you a hug.
You should.
Okay. All right, you got your Chicago. Congratulations. Whew, that was heavy. I'm sorry. I have so much crying in these in my podcasts. Not so much, but definitely probably more than most comedy podcasts. It's not like I'm trying to make anybody cry. Also, I really don't like seeing my friends cry. But there's something beautiful about that emotion. You can't fake it when you cry. It's like you're not faking anything. It's just like, there it is. That's how I'm feeling. It's right there. Anyway, thank you very much, Sarah Tiana, for sharing with us. That's strong of you. I don't want to say brave, but sort of that's the word, right? It's really tough. It fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. I'm telling you, man, it's never gotten easier. You fall in love, you like somebody, and you just have to put it out of your mind, but it's gonna turn shitty. It's just gonna, at some point, turn shitty, even if you stay together. And all the people that say, no, my relationship is just great all the time, fuck you, because you make it harder for everybody. Give both versions. Just say, no, I like being with my wife for 15 years, but man, we have some hard times. I don't want to convince you that it's easy, because it's never easy. It's constant fucking, I curse too much, constant fucking giving up on what you want, and what's the word? Goddamn pot. What have you done to me? Compromise. It's constant fucking compromise. And it's worth it too. There's parts that are worth it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against. I don't think that you don't get any value from it. Anyway, so send a note on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, send a note to Sarah Tiana. Let her know you think she's cool. Send her some dick pics. That might be nice. That might be really nice for her. Send her some dick pics to Sarah Tiana. Or if you're a girl, I don't know, don't send her dick pics. But just tell her you got her back. And if anybody knows that guy, let me know or let her know. Nobody knows her, right? Nobody knows that guy. Chris Freeman. Is that his name? Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. Please subscribe on iTunes or Stitcher. Please don't forget to visit my sponsors, Amazon and Gamefly.com.
If you go to Gamefly.com/Ari, it's like, honestly, they're the best one. It's like $20. You can only do it one time, but they give me like $20. That's like plenty. That's more than you'd give me if you had to like just donate, which I don't want to take donations, but that's more than you would probably donate to me. If it's less, then I don't know. I'm not offering a way to donate to me, but I don't know. Go buy 20 of my t-shirts or something. All smalls. So anyway, thank you, Sarah. I'm sorry this happened to you. I really am. You're a wonderful, beautiful human being, and she's one of those people that I really like. Just because of Cater, because she dated my friend, she's just completely non-sexualized to me. There's just nothing there in any way. Don't get me wrong. I would take a BJ if she offered one in a drunken stupor, but I'd feel bad about it later. Anyway, that's the podcast. I'm trying to think there was something I was supposed to tell you guys, but I don't know. Again, September 14th, tickets go on sale for House of Blues, Joey Diaz, Ari Shaffir. One night only, November 8th. Tickets go on sale September 14th. Get them quickly. And I guess that's it. Thank you guys very much for tuning in. Tune in every week, and if you have any feedback, always let me know. contact@arithegreat.com. Write to me there, and I will. I see everything. Oh, I see everything. I don't write back only because I don't know how to write back not from my own email address. So I don't want my email address getting out to like, tons of people. But if somebody gives me like a real good suggestion or like, I don't know, they need something specific, yeah, I'll write back to you. Anyway, all right, this is me entering now this outro. So thank you very much for Sarah Tiana one more time. I'm really, really sorry that happened. Man, it just fucking sucks. Quit hurting everybody, everyone. All right. I'll see you guys next week. Oh, no, I'm doing another one this week. I'll have more bonus episodes this week for you guys. So maybe Wednesday or Thursday, another episode. A bonus episode of Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank. So this is Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank number 72. Over and out. The Love Scam. Sarah Tiana. Bye.